Protect your neck, cause you come next. You ought to know best, this ain't no chess. I'm a dragon, my town, my cage, my nest. Protect your neck, cause you come next. You ought to know best, come clean my mess. Have a dragon, my team, my honor, my chest. I'm haunted by a mountainous silhouette lurking under my skin, constricting my reason, it's fiending to break out and spin. Into carnage, I harness the havoc so I don't slip into sin. But the appetite's massive, I practice the path of discipline. Each elbow's a prayer, every knuckle's a vow. Keep darkness in captivity so it may not devour my sanity, clarity, both teetering on the brink. I'm scaring me, apparently I'm bleeding black ink. I cradle the chaos, cradle the fists that clash. Taste the salted sweat of regret each time I lash. If I can't find a ring or a mat, the monster tears at the seams, so I let it off the leash to defend my team. Protect your neck, cause you come next. You ought to know best, this ain't no chess. I'm a dragon, my town, my cage, my nest.
From Los Angeles to Miami, New York to Sao Paulo, and London to Dubai, over 400 fighters from living legends to tomorrow's stars have gathered around the world. And tonight we reveal who is selected to compete in the inaugural season of the league that will change mixed martial arts forever. This is the Global Fight League, where together we fight. Hi, I'm Caroline Pierce and welcome to the inaugural Global Fight League GFL Draft 2025. 6 global teams of 20 will lead to 1 GFL champion. Walking weight classes allow for action-promised matchups, healthy fighters, and an innovative point system will determine who moves to the semi-finals and finals. We've got names like Gegard Mousasi, Tyron Woodley, Paige Van Zandt, and Aspen Ladd. The Global Fight League will kick off in April 2025, but tonight we reveal the 120 fighters of the GFL. To break down what the GFL means for the sport and provide play-by-play of the selection process, it is the one and only Mike Goldberg.
Caroline, thank you very much. My partners are powerful. This is where I am right now as we enter tonight's GFL draft. A couple of decades ago, I went on a very global ride with my powerful partner, Joe Rogan. Well, now MMA is global, and we're going to change the landscape of it being global. So I cannot wait to get started. My powerful partners, Robin Black, Big Brown, the man who created the Superman punch, allegedly. Robin, the Zen way that you do it. Visualize the GFL for everyone.
So martial arts is a living organism. It's liquid and it's ever-changing, right? And so should the leagues and the sports and the environment and the way we present these martial artists. It should be changing as well. And with GFL, it is.
It certainly is, and the thing, Brendan, I know that has you excited is as we grow, we're going to see some of the greats and we're going to see some of the great up-and-comers.
Yeah, I think what's so great about the GFL is you have your huge names, you got your big stars that everybody knows, but then you also, what I'm excited about, you got the young, promising prospects where you've seen them in other leagues and they had some bumps and bruises, maybe some losses, and they didn't live up to the hype. Well, now they get to kind of restart, and they're at the GFL, and I think those young prospects like a Sage Northcutt, Kevin Lee comes to mind, guys of those caliber can now, live up to their potential.
No question about it. All right, Caroline touched upon it, but let's break down our general managers, our coaches, and the draft process tonight with these 6 teams, 20 rounds. And I mean, this is a who's who right here. Former UFC heavyweight world champion Cain Velasquez with his longtime coach Javier Mendez, Thiago Alves, and Conan, I mean, he's a legend. Silveira, Vanderlei, and the professor, Lyoto Machida, Andre Pederneiras. I'm so old I called Audrey's fights before the Novo União team days. And then London with Luke Barnett, Carl Price, and hey, if you're gonna have a guy from New York, it's gotta be from Strong Island, and it's got to be Ray Ray. All right, let's talk about how the draft will work tonight. The process that you will see. 6 teams, 20 fighters per team. 7 weight classes for the men, 3 weight classes for the women, and there's that snake format. So you go first, then you get the double pick, you work your way back up. That's how a snake travels. So that is why it is the snake process.
I like it. Look, best of the best leading these teams. You couldn't get better general managers and coaches, and we're going to hear from them all through the night as well as the fighters. But let's just set up a few kind of what-if scenarios, Mike. You know, what are we expecting here?
My what if is, what if I went to sleep one night and had great dreams and memories of those wonderful years with the Ultimate Fighting Championship. And I thought about, you know what, Joe and I never got out of the trees because we were just so busy. Well, now I get to get out of the trees, still be in there a little bit, but see the whole forest and live this dream again with people who I dearly love, people I can't wait to work with on a daily basis, and I'm excited. So turn back the clock for me. Let's do it once again.
Baby, yeah, I mean, there's a million what ifs. That's what's so beautiful about change is there's brand new things happening, different ways to view things, different ways to present things. You know, there's fights that we've never got to see, that we may have never imagined you'd see with somebody who was a Bellator champion and a UFC champion. We're going to get some of those dream fights here.
Yeah, you're going to get some of those dream fights, but I also think you're going to see guys that, again, maybe they fought in the UFC and now they're coming over here and they didn't break into the top 10, the top 5, and there was a lot of hype on them, and now we're looking for those guys to get those big matchups. And you look at the roster, there's huge names. Yeah. There's big names, so there's no cakewalks here. You know, there's just not. You're getting a tough fight out the gate.
No reason not to go to Mount Rushmore as many times as possible. That's pretty much what we're going to do with a lot of the picks here tonight, Caroline.
Yeah, we will indeed. But let's bring in our reporter, Alex Wendling. She's here with our commissioner, Darren Owen. Let's hear from them.
Thank you so much, Caroline, and welcome, Darren Owen. How you feeling?
Phenomenal. Thank you.
Well, it's such an honor to be here with you for the GFL draft. It's a long time coming. You are a fight fan, first and foremost. You had UFC 1 on a VHS tape before starting your own martial arts journey, had a spinal injury that pushed you more into the promoter route, and then you started when you were 26 years old, so you've been doing this for some time, and now you are seeing the vision being brought to life. So just put into words the excitement of the inaugural GFL draft today.
Yeah, thanks, Alex. To see this come to life is absolutely amazing. You know, the fighters that have come to the table has been, you know, truly inspiring, and, you know, just that old saying, if you build it, they will come, and that's exactly what's happened.
And the GFL is looking to really build on the global fan bases. So can you tell me about the inspiration for the 6 cities that we're going to be seeing in the 2025 GFL season?
Yeah, so we obviously wanted to leverage major global markets, but also kind of hotbeds for the sport of MMA. And I definitely think that we've, you know, established that. We wanted to launch a truly global league, and the fact that we're in 4 continents to begin with is definitely a great step in the right direction.
And an official draft is a little bit different for the MMA combat scene. So for anyone out there that's curious about the financial salary cap, could you kind of break it down for them?
Yeah, so a couple things. So each fighter has a revenue share percentage. So each team is capped based on those amounts of rev share points for each fighter, so that our model actually works. And that's the structure of the GFL. We're sharing 50% of the revenue with the athletes. And that's first and foremost, that's our commitment, is to elevate these athletes to, you know, to the same levels as other professional athletes in the world.
Well, it's definitely a very exciting setup that we have. Thank you so much, Darren. It is going to be an amazing night. And Caroline and Goldie are going to get our draft underway, so stay tuned.
GFL is a global battle of 6 teams from 4 countries on 4 continents. London, Dubai, Sao Paulo, Miami, Los Angeles, and New York all compete in a 6-month tournament. Each city will put its pride on the line as it hosts fights during the regular season. Teams will score points, allowing them to move on to the semifinals and final, where one team will be crowned GFL champion. Every fight has a maximum of 4 points available. Finish wins are 4 points, with 3 points given to decision wins. Draws gain competitors 2 points. Decision losses receive 1 point. Finish losses equal no points. Every fight counts if a team wants to be called champion.
New York, Sao Paulo, Miami, Dubai, London, LA. Protect your neck, cause you come next. Yeah. You ought to know best, this ain't no chess. I'm a dragon, my town, my cage, my nest. Protect your neck, oh, cause you come next. Yeah. You ought to know best, come clean my mess. Have a dragon, my team, my honor, my chest. I'm haunted by a mountainous silhouette lurking under my skin, constricting my reason, it's fiending to break out and spin. Into carnage, I harness the havoc so I don't slip into sin. But the appetite's massive, I practice the path of discipline. Each elbow's a prayer, every knuckle's a vow. Keep darkness in captivity so it may not devour my sanity, clarity, both teetering on the brink. I'm scaring me, apparently I'm bleeding black ink. I cradle the chaos, cradle the fists that clash. Taste the salted sweat of regret each time I lash. If I can't find a ring or a mat, the monster tears at the seams, so I let it off the leash to defend my team. Protect your neck, oh, cause you come next. Yeah. You ought to know best, this ain't no chess. I'm a dragon, my town, my cage, my nest.
So we're getting close to those round one picks. We're going to see where the teams go, what direction they go. So I want to get your predictions, you know, the likes of Ray Longo, the different coaches involved. What do you think's your prediction as to what direction they go with their first picks?
My prediction, really, Caroline, is it is all over just like that.
Yes.
As you noticed immediately, the finish gets 4 points. And those points as the season goes on with all the fighters, all the weight classes, are going to be the difference for the final two and then the one who wins the Global Fight League. So finish fights, we're going to get people who can knock them out and submit them, and we're going to get a lot of them. And Robin, you obviously know what's going on with this system, but I also want to talk to you about the team, because you were involved in team sports, Brendan, forever. Colorado Buffaloes, Arena Football League. Now we have a team format. How will that make a difference?
Yeah, what I would do if I was one of these coaches, and we have high-level coaches, that I'd be looking for a leader in that locker room, a guy with a lot of experience, a guy that's fought at a world level, world championship level, just to tutelage those younger guys, give them words of wisdom. That's going to start the tone of your team. You want a Tom Brady-ish type of leader in that locker room, a Tyron Woodley, something like that of that caliber. So you're going to want to pick those early because you can go off the board fast.
Robin?
Yeah, I mean, military strategy is great, Brendan. It makes total sense. And of course you want finishers, right? Yeah. But you get one first pick. You get one. And for my money, you pick the best martial artist available. And there's a number of them that are in the GFL right now that are the best martial artists on planet Earth. But for my money, Gegard Mousasi, don't at me if you're a casual, Gegard Mousasi is perhaps the best martial artist over 185 pounds still fighting today. He's had a bit of time off. It wasn't always because he wanted it. There were, other leagues that he fought for weren't giving him fights. But that bit of time off will have allowed him to heal, have a very healthy body. This is one of the top martial artists in the world. Fish swim, birds fly. Gegard Mousasi weaponizes his body to destroy the body of another, right? You go with Gegard Mousasi.
I totally agree. And Caroline, the next win for Gegard Mousasi will be the 50th professional MMA victory of his career.
Incredible. We're going to bring in Darren. Darren, I want to know what you think of the prediction. So are we going to go for finishers? Are the teams going to pick the quarterback for their team? Or are they going to go for just the best all-round or best fighter there is available for their roster? Darren, what do you think of those predictions?
Yeah, how can you go wrong with any of those? Legends, leaders, finishers, definitely something that is definitely wanted in a team leader.
Absolutely. Okay, without further ado, who is the round one pick number one?
Let's have it.
The first overall selection in the 2025 GFL Draft, Dubai selects welterweight from the United States of America, the chosen one, Tyron Woodley.
Ooh. There you go. You called it. But look, he is the former welterweight world champion with a record there of 19-7-1. He's got 4 successful title defenses. Mike, it's a good first pick, isn't it?
I love the guy. He's done a lot of great things since just competing in mixed martial arts. His massive popularity and profile is at the highest level. And T. Wood grew up on the mats at Missouri, so he knows what it's like to work hard with teammates. And there is something special too, Brendan. You and I talked about it before. There's only one first pick, top pick, And you can go to my favorite quarterback, 2020, Joe Burrow. You can go all the way back to my favorite hockey player, Joe Thurton. In 1997, Jumbo, the top pick of the Boston Bruins.
Yeah, I think for Woodley, he checks all the boxes that you want as a first pick. Of course he's the first pick. Think about Woodley's, since he's retired from the UFC. He's fought Jake Paul twice, made all the money in the world, and then here he is, the #1 pick for 2025. Like, the guy's kicking ass, man. He's doing great.
Yeah.
And he should, as he should.
Yep.
UFC champ, Strikeforce champ, legend.
Yeah, I mean, you can't argue with that, right? Sure. Gegard sounds like a great first pick, and that was my first pick, and that would be my first pick. But man, you're not going to go wrong with Tyron Woodley. Come on.
You just set up a fight between T. Wood and Gegard Mousasi.
Oh, that's what I'm here to do today. Oh, yes.
I'll watch it.
Yes, indeed.
All right, well, the champ is standing by to talk to us. Tyron Woodley, welcome to the show. Look, you are the first pick. You're representing Team Dubai. Yeah, let's give him a round of applause for that.
Yeah.
What do you think of all of that, Tyron?
Man, first off, the trailer was crazy, man. You guys went all out. I'm excited, man. It's time to come back home. You know, I kind of ghosted MMA for a little bit. I kind of put it on pause. And MMA, for me, it always came through for me when I needed it. I always had the discipline in the training camps. It was always lessons that I have. So I'm extremely excited to get back to mixed martial arts. It's my roots. I'm ready to start slamming people again, dropping elbows on them again. Boxing is fun. I'm not saying I would never box again, but at the end of the day, all the techniques and things that I learned from boxing is just going to make me a sharper mixed martial artist. So I trimmed down. I was walking around with a little fat on my stomach. I knocked off 25 pounds. I've been in the gym training, and I'm excited, man. I'm excited to fight.
I cannot wait. T. Wood, you've always stayed busy. You've always stayed hungry. Now you just told us you are back in prime shape. When the GFL called, how quickly did you answer that call and say, absolutely, yes, I'm in?
You know, I was praying about the situation about me and mixed martial arts anyway. I was like, you know, is this a situation where I need to get back in there? Do I need to walk away from the sport? You know what I mean? Is the fire and desire to go out there and get after it, right? And I went to the gym and I went to go and spar, just no training camp. I went to go spar to see if I still had it, if I still was sharp, and my mind was still operating the same way it did. And that same day I came back and I got a call, and it was a call about the GFL wanting me to fight. And I was like, answer prayer is answer prayer. And I didn't really hesitate. Darren, to tell you, it didn't take me very long. And, you know, I jumped on the opportunity, and now I'm excited to get out there. So many guys to fight. It's a lot of matchups I never got an opportunity to fight in the UFC that I'll get a chance to do here. And I'm excited about it.
Tyron, yeah, I mean, makes total sense. You're the first pick ever. That'll be history forever. If people aren't in the know, they might wonder, well, Tyron Woodley in Dubai, but you're deeply connected to Dubai right now, and it makes complete sense, correct?
Yeah, I'm deeply connected to Dubai. I do a lot of consulting in Dubai. I have a golden visa in Dubai where I have citizenship for 10 years there. I've spent maybe 10 trips in Dubai over the last 2 years. And I enjoy it. I got those feet in the sand, and I love the opportunities there. I love the training there, and it gets me away. You know, sometimes it's a little faster in the U.S. when I'm training in Los Angeles and Miami and things of that nature. When I was training in Dubai, I felt like a seclusion. I know you guys see it as big buildings and the biggest this and the biggest that, but for me, I found a way to kind of tuck off in the cut. And Javier Mendez is a person I've been wanting to work with for a long time. When I first started mixed martial arts before any professional fights, he brought me and Phil Davidson on a recruiting trip. I was training with Koscheck, Fitch, Shields, all the top welterweights, and I went out there almost like a recruiting trip, and I've always wanted to work with him. He's always let me come for a training camp. Now I get a chance to really learn from a master, and I'm excited about it.
T. Wood, we know how scary it is when you retire, when you stepped away from the UFC. Did you envision blowing up like you have, the 2 fights with Jake Paul, now you're the #1 draft in the first ever MMA draft? Did you envision any of this? Like, because it's scary when you retire.
You know, it was an interview you did a long time ago, and you was saying how I had to keep busy, and you was saying that I had to do all these other things because at times this forces against you. But for me, I believe what God has for me is for me. And you know me, if you're a star, you're a star. And when you get an opportunity to showcase that and show that, I've stepped up to the table and I've shown that. So I'm excited for another opportunity. I'm excited about this league. I'm even excited about these younger fighters that I can help them not make some of the same mistakes I made and really stay focused. You know what I mean? It was a period of time where I was living a lifestyle, man. I was making so much money and I was just all over the place, and I was planting bad seeds in the ground, and those seeds had the harvest. So you saw the drought. So now I'm refocused. It's been the last 5 or 6 years that I've really been dedicating my life and my mind to doing the right thing, and I feel like this is the comeback season. You're going to see the Tyron Woodley that you want to see. You're going to see more punches. You're going to see more volume, and you guys don't want to see me backing up. You guys want to see me darting across the octagon, the cage, the ring, the whatever the heck we fighting in sand, a White Castle box in the alley. Y'all want to see me going forward, and that's what I'm gonna do. Y'all deserve
Tyrone,
it.
Yep.
You do indeed, Tyrone. And look, I don't know if we're being sand even in Dubai, but we can't wait to see you back in the cage. Love that you manifested this. Good luck with all your training and preparations, and we'll see you in the GFL.
I appreciate you guys.
Thank you. Wow, I love that he manifested this.
Oh,
he was visualizing it, but he's going to have a target on his back, isn't he, being the
Well,
former champion?
when you're the top pick, you always have a target on your back. But we talked about what we thought might happen. Skill, leader. He just checked off all the boxes. And reborn, coming back to do it even a better way than he did before, Brendan.
Yeah, it'd be tough to do better than what he did before, but I think
maybe better in training, as he alluded to.
Better in training, maybe fighting a different way, more calculated, using his strengths, and also he's a #1 pick for a reason. Like I said, you want that Tom Brady leader in your locker room. Woodley's that guy in every facet. And then also remember, he grew up a wrestler. There's no better teammate than a wrestler. Anyone that's been in that gym, you want a wrestler around you. He was the team captain, and he's a stud, man.
Yeah, and a great performance artist, and that's what fighting is. You're performing under pressure while somebody's trying to smash your face in. A great artist comes into their own in later chapters of their life, and life experience helps that. All the different businesses, traveling to different areas, this is all making him a better fighter, and he's a smarter fighter, and you forget sometimes until you hear that guy talk. He is a freaking star.
You also forget how good he is.
Yes. And how excited he is, Carol. I mean, that was pure enthusiasm, like all of us have.
Yeah, and we're hyped for it now as well. If we weren't already. That is our pick #1. Okay, we're going to move along now. Pick #2. It's Los Angeles. Team Los Angeles pick. Darren, who is it?
The second overall pick in the GFL draft, Los Angeles selects lightweight Sage Northcutt.
Super Sage, yes.
Well, he is the former UFC and one
Love
veteran.
it.
Look at that excitement.
Hey.
We got Sage right away, Caroline. I love this. This is like the draft.
Sage, look, it looks like you're pumped. I can see the excitement. But look, you fought in the UFC, you fought in ONE, you're getting ready to fight in the GFL. Are there some potential matchups or fights that, maybe rematches or new fights that you're excited about?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I'm sitting here watching the draft right now, and I don't even know who's all in the lightweight division yet. So I'm going to be watching this whole draft for 2025, seeing who's going to be on the roster, and man, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited.
I thought he would have taken a sneak peek at Instagram to see who had been announced.
Right?
Well, the sign.
Exactly.
And you know what, Sage? You've really aged, because I called your first ever fight. Wait a second, you were 19, and now you're 28 years old. So you haven't really aged. But I think this is fair to say that your path has always not been the most natural path, and it's had some potholes. You have the mental fortitude to avoid those and to work through them, and now you're really going to get a chance at a second life, in my opinion.
Absolutely. You know, I agree. I've been training so hard over the past bunch of years. I've got so much skill. You know, I've matured more, and now getting a chance to show it and getting to fight on a team, too. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be fun to see how the fans like that. And Team Los Angeles, I'm sitting here in LA right now, actually. So this is great.
Yeah, Sage, it would have been absurd if you were signed by anybody other than Los Angeles. Just look at this kid, Sean. Look what he looks like. He looks literally like Ken. And lifelong, better looking than Ken. Lifelong martial artist, stud athlete, and you are as California as they come. Dude, I don't even have a question for you. We're just really excited to see you here. Pick number 2 in the GFL. You got to be stoked.
Thanks, Robin. Yeah, I'm stoked. Man, I tell you what, you look great in that suit. I love that suit.
Thank you. I love this kid.
Sage is a nice guy in the world.
Nicest guy.
Sage, what? I don't really have a question either. I'm just excited for you because I feel like you're one of these young prospects that you got pushed too fast, too soon. I hated the matchup you had when you were over in one championship. I didn't like any of it, and for whatever reason, I feel like this older brother, I'm going to protect him because if you just water that flower, that kid is so damn talented. Yeah. And now I feel like you have talent. Clearly, you've always had talent, but also you have the experience now in the GFL. And I just think they're going to be a better fit for you, my man. I'm excited for you.
Oh, thank you so much, Sage. Go well, and we can't wait to see you. Thank you.
Still have the $1 million smile.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm excited for it.
Someone get that kid an agent.
Thank you. Yeah. He's literally carved out of stone, isn't he?
No
He's got all the talent to match as well.
Yeah, no question. And
I got underwear older than him.
Wow, yeah, I have kids older than him. Well, almost, right on that border, my daughter. But, 3rd-degree black belt, Taekwondo. Obviously, we all know about his great striking skills. The entire family are all fighters, they're all strikers. Super Sage is going to be fun to watch, as he always has been.
All right, that's 2 picks in the can. And next we go to my hometown, London. Darren, who have Team London picked?
3rd overall selection in the 2025 draft. London selects, from the Netherlands, the dreamcatcher, Gegard Mousasi.
There he is, one of the most accomplished MMA fighters on the planet. Record, look at that, 49, 9 and 2. Like you said earlier, Goldie, he's going to be going for that 50th fight. He has been a champion, he's been a pioneer. What a good pick.
And he goes to what I talked about at the top of the show. 27 mixed martial arts wins by KO or TKO. 22 of those in the first round. Yeah. And Robin, you've been talking about, he should be the top pick. Well, he's the top pick for his team. Yeah. So there's Gegard Mousasi.
Hey, there's a lot of ways that people get influenced, narratives and dogma and doctrines, and there are people who don't understand. This is one of the great martial artists walking earth in modern human history. And he hasn't fought that much over the last few years, so injuries have healed. When he's in a state of flow, when he's out and just allowing it to happen, watching himself perform, he can literally beat every other human being on planet Earth. And don't at me, that's the truth.
Yeah, for Gegard, I became a fan of Gegard when he did the up kick against Jocker, if you remember that, and that was in Dream. I mean, that's how long this dude's been fighting. Yep. So when you talk about a #1 pick, the guy with 60 total fights, 60, it's insane. So he's just so talented. I'll tell you, it's going to be tough to find someone to beat him.
Yeah, and really let's not forget the 200 Muay Thai battles and all the training over the years, too. He is someone very special and worthy of a top pick.
100%.
Yeah, okay, the teams have come out strong to begin with. Next, we go to Miami, Darren.
4th overall selection in the 2025 draft. Miami selects heavyweight from Brazil, Junior Dos Santos.
Whoa, welcome to Miami.
Hi, buddy. Hi, buddy.
The former UFC heavyweight champion. He's fought the who's who of the heavyweight division, of course, hailing from Brazil. He'll be representing Miami here.
Yeah, and you won't meet a nicer human being than Junior Dos Santos. Back in Mexico City a number of years ago, he's like, Goldie, I have this down. I'm Mike Goldberg, and I will see you next time right here inside the octagon. And I know Junior's laughing at that. Buddy, I cannot wait to be united with that man because he truly, Brendan, is somebody special.
And to your point that you made at the top of the show, if you're looking for a finisher, that's your guy.
No kidding.
That's your guy. That left hook will put you away. And as a heavyweight, the last thing to leave any fighter, especially a heavyweight, is power. That guy has a lot of power. I was the commentator for his bare knuckle MMA fight in Game Bred, and let me tell you something. He's still a handful. The footwork's still there. He's pretty, well versed on his feet, and the cardio's great. So he's gonna be a problem.
I sat right next to him at that Game Bred, that brother Brandon. And if you remember, he moved beautifully. He was relaxed, but his mind was better. He talked about having been through pressure and stress and dealing with the tension of fighting, even when he was UFC champion. But now he's relaxed and he's just letting it happen, controlling what he can control and not worrying about everything else. And that's why he's fighting so good.
And when he came out first thing I said, oh man, he can move.
Yeah. And Caroline, I called the first network the Big Fox Show, which was Junior against Kane. Love Cardio Kane. He's involved with GFL. Lasted 69 seconds. It was a very quick one. So there's JDS for you.
Yeah, so much experience there. Up next, we're going to go to Sao Paulo for pick number 5, Darren.
5th overall pick, Sao Paulo selects from Brazil, Fabricio Verdum.
All right, we've got another Brazilian and another former UFC heavyweight champion and Brazilian legend, Fabricio Verdum. Talking of experience, another man that's going to bring experience to the team.
4-time also Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world champion, 2-time ADCC heavyweight champion, black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Judo, and Muay Thai. Fabricio Verdum has everything. And I know we're going to showcase the finishes, but let's remember one thing. We learned this from Frank Mir on a couple of occasions when bones were broken. A spectacular submission can be as spectacular as that one-punch knockout, and that's the ability that Fabricio Verdum has.
Yeah, you want a leader, and he's the ultimate leader. I keep emphasizing if you're going to have a team, you want a leader of that locker room to hold everybody accountable. Fabricio's that. He's as good as they get. He's doing down in King's MMA for years. He's the head honcho there, the captain there. Nothing changes here.
Yeah, he'll knock you out. He'll throw a flying kick, and you can't go to the ground. It's hot lava. You can't.
Hot lava. I like that. What great start we have so far. All about champions, right, Caroline?
Yep, the names are coming in thick and fast. But before we go to New York's picks, because they're going to have back-to-back picks, I'm going to bring in the man from Long Island, a coach who has basically coached several UFC champions and more. It is the great Ray Longo, and it is always so good to see you. Look, Ray, what are you expecting from the draft? What are your sort of tactics as to how you're going to pick your team members?
I think right now, man, I'm excited just to get this thing started. And I like to get a couple of guys that are kind of local so we can maybe all get them together. Guys that, I'm familiar with, that I've either had my guys fight against or, I've just been fans of. So I'm kind of excited for everything.
Ray, it is great to see you again, my friend. It's been a long time. You got a GFL hat before any of us, so you are something very special. I just want to know, will the team mantra be punch a hole through his chest? Is that the way you're going to face everybody off?
Whatever I have to do to motivate these guys, I'm excited to see if I can make a difference. So who knows what's going to happen. But as far as the hat, my hair's a mess. I don't even like wearing hats. But I figure I'd give Darren a little shine. He gave me a hat when he was here. So I want to try to promote this thing as best I can. And since I'm having a bad hair day, the hat goes on.
Perfect.
I love it.
Hey, Coach, when you coaches and general managers and stuff were being named, people thought, oh, that's cool. These guys are kind of famous and known or whatever. But it sounds like you guys are hyper competitive. Like you desperately want to smoke all these other guys. Truth?
Oh, without a doubt. I've always been a sore loser my whole life. I try to handle it good, but I don't think anybody likes losing. So, I ran into Javier in Los Angeles last week, and we had a lot of laughs about, what we're going to do to each other, our teams and stuff. So I think it's a fun concept. I'm kind of excited for it.
Nice.
Yeah, you sound excited, Coach. I was just thinking, you've been involved with every organization as far as coaching, some of the greatest fighters ever do it. GFL has to make you pretty excited when you see the benefits, the fighter pay, the give back, all that stuff. You have to be pretty excited when you see what the GFL's doing.
100%. Even when I talk to Darren, his heart's in the right spot. I mean, he's a guy that, look, he wants to get this thing started right. You heard the way he spoke about all the cooperation with the profits and that stuff. Yep. So, that's all I care about is if a guy's looking to do good, I'm going to back him. And it sounds like a good thing for some of these guys that might have got shortchanged in the past.
Agree.
Ray, we're going to keep you around. We're going to visit with you again in a few minutes because back-to-back picks for Team New York right now, Caroline. So stay with us, Coach.
Yeah, stay with us indeed. Look, we are live, so keep those comments coming in online. We'll love seeing them. And back-to-back picks, we're going to go to Darren. What is the first pick for New York?
New York selects lightweight from the United States of America, the Motown phenom, Kevin Lee.
There he is, the former UFC interim lightweight challenger. Probably one of the best fighters not to win a title, would you say, Mike?
Absolutely, and always entertaining. Always has that union, hardworking Detroit attitude to him, and he's a machine. He's a machine, and he's trained with everybody. I mean, back in the day, it was Dewey Cooper and all the guys at Extreme Couture, and then TriStar, notable wins, Edson Barboza, Diego Sanchez, the Nightmare. It was the Motown phenom who was the nightmare that night for Diego Sanchez.
Yeah, now put him in with Coach Ray. That's going to be sick. But you're absolutely right. He's a high-end, high-caliber fighter. He's a high-skill guy, but he'll put on his hard hat and his work boots and grab the lunch bucket and show up at the work site. Still only 32 years old. Come on,
yeah, I was gonna say, he has a lot more work to do. Like, I like the Kevin Lee fight because there's a lot of promise there. And if gun to the head and I have to bet on somebody when he first coming out into the UFC, that's your next champion. And injuries happen, stuff happens.
He's healthy now.
You know how it goes.
Healthy
now with the GFL. So he would be my dark horse to win this thing.
Second chances in life do not always come. For this man right here, the Motown phenom, Kevin Lee, this is his second chance. I think he's going to take full advantage of it.
All right, and that completes our round number 1 pick. So with that, I'm going to send it back to Alex for a bit of a recap.
Yes, we are isolated here in the social corner, and MMAX is going crazy. People on Instagram leaving comments as well. To kick things off, before the broadcast started, Ariel Helwani asked, the GFL starts in 1 minute. Who's locked in? Anyone have a draft watch party going on? And someone that has a draft watch party going on is none other than the most famous dog on MMAX. It is Gokhan, owner of McMalley, a, internet sensation. So they are all watching, tuning in here. And then, of course, Ariel Helwani also had to give credit to this rap song being incredible. So whoever edited that together and has the music choice, top notch. We also are making this a spectacle. We had Bohashinya Depot in the comments saying, I'm more excited for the MMA GFL draft than I am for most fight nights. So that is quite the compliment, especially because we have a stacked roster that we are getting ready to show. And obviously the first overall draft pick with Tyron Woodley bringing that explosive power and that celebrity crossover boxing crossover is super brilliant, and Javier Mendez and Cain Velasquez really executed on that first round pick. But we had some speculation from fans as well. Austin Anderson saying, hey Alex, who do you think will be the number 1 overall pick? I'm going with either Kevin Lee or Gegard Mousasi, maybe a PVZ if the number 1 team picking prefers good marketing. So there was a lot of speculation, but he wasn't too far off. We did see Gegard and Kevin Lee get picked up as well. And before we head off, we have to give a shout out to Gokhan again, because he was wearing a Los Angeles Chargers jersey, and they're watching it from home right now. They're such big fans supporting Sage Northcutt back there. And our final comment is from Based Gotti. She said, Robin is spitting facts about Gegard incoming that 50th win, and she wants to see Gegard versus Luke Rockhold in a trilogy. So there's plenty of options, a lot of talk going around, and we cannot wait to keep the comments coming. So make sure you join us online. You can @ me at Alex Wendling X, at MMA GFL as well for more action. So we're gonna keep the action going because there is much more to come with this draft.
The Global Fight League is not just stepping into the future of mixed martial arts, it's shaping it. And it starts with their commitment to fighters both physically and financially. For the first time in the history of combat sports, GFL athletes are true equitable partners with 50% of all net revenue going to all fighters. Plus, the GFL will contribute to a retirement and insurance fund. In an effort to keep fighters safe and competing at their highest potential, the need for unhealthy weight cuts have been eliminated. Though the names might look familiar, the weights are very different. It's the mission of the Global Fight League to bring fans the most exciting events possible, and that starts with putting fighters first.
New York, Sao Paulo, Miami, Dubai, London, LA. Protect your neck, cause you come next. You ought to know best, this ain't no chess. I'm a dragon, my town, my cage, my nest. Protect your neck, cause you come next. You ought to know best, come clean my mess. Have a dragon, my team, my honor, my chest. I'm haunted by a mountainous silhouette lurking under my skin, constricting my reason, it's fiending to break out and spin. Into carnage, I harness the havoc so I don't slip into sin. But the appetite's massive, I practice the path of discipline. Each elbow's a prayer, every knuckle's a vow. Keep darkness in captivity so it may not devour my sanity, clarity, both teetering on the brink. I'm scaring me, apparently I'm bleeding black ink. I cradle the chaos, cradle the fists that clash. Taste the salted sweat of regret each time I lash. If I can't find a ring or a mat, the mustard tears at the seam, so I let it off the leash to defend my team. Protect your neck, cause you come next. You ought to know best, this ain't no chess. I'm a dragon, my town, my cage, my nest.
6, 5, 4.
Welcome back to the live GFL draft, and those round 1 picks are in, and based on what you saw, what does round 2 have in store, do you think?
Well, first of all, I want to talk about the music just for a quick second. I love me some Stem and Face the Pain, Face the Pain. But I'm starting to dance to our song already. So here's my prediction for round 2. You still want to get some of that experience, but when will coaches and general managers start to pick out those rapidly rising stars, the ones who will be tutored by men and women that we will talk about throughout the night? So let's see when that transition kind of starts to happen, Brendan.
Yeah, and you'll see in that first round, two of the teams picked experience with Gegard Mousasi and Woodley, and then 2 teams picked the kind of prospects with Sage Northcutt and then also with Kevin Lee.
By the way,
so,
can they fight for us, Sage Northcutt? And Kevin
take
Lee?
my money. That's a great fight. So you're going to see that flip. So if I took the experience kind of the captain of the team, now I'm looking for that young prospect.
Robin, quick, you keep saying take my money. You must have a lot of money now.
I'll take your money.
I'll take your money.
All right.
Robin, you're doing all
right. I'm doing all right. For me, it's time to choose the best woman fighter available. And is that Holly Holm? I mean, Holly Holm is a genius. Holly Holm knocks people out with head kicks. It's time to take the best woman possibly available. Whether you, like somebody on X said, you go Paige Van Zandt, who is often underappreciated for how talented of a fighter she is because she has so many other valuable assets.
She's going to bring notoriety to
aesthetically
your team,
pleasing, all these other things. But I think you pick Holly and you take Holly right now.
I like it.
We'll find out.
All right, we will indeed. So we're going to go to round 2. Pick number 7. It is, of course, New York again. Darren, who did they pick?
New York selects from New York, middleweight, the All-American Chris Weidman.
Shocking!
Shocking! The former UFC middleweight champion, 2 title defenses. Of course, a long-time member of the Sarah Longo team. And of course, Ray Longo was going to pick Chris Weidman. We're going to hear from him in just a moment. Record of 16-8. There's going to be some exciting matches, rematches for Chris Weidman in this league. But initial thought?
Well, he started the same way that Tyron Woodley is. And that is a D1 collegiate wrestler on Strong Island going to Hofstra. He's been with everybody. He's been with Ray. He's been with Matt Serra, Henzo Gracie, John Danaher. He has been with everybody. He's been at the top, and he has stayed at the top for some time. And then he's fumbled a little bit. Most importantly to me, he's now healthy. But in the big picture, what does Chris Weidman bring to Team New York?
I mean, brings a ton of experience. He's a leader, which is what you want, especially Team New York. But also, what my question for Chris would be, what's his why? He's kind of done it.
Yeah.
He's the All-American, fan favorite. My question would be, why are you doing this? you know? Because he's done it all. He's checked all the boxes. So my question with Chris is, like, what is the goal here? Just to dominate, which that never leaves a guy like Chris. That's why he's world champion. So what's his why? Yeah. That's more important to me than him getting drafted.
And that's a great question. There's always questions. People want to know, you broke your leg in half. How you doing? You know who will know that best? The only person who will know it as well as Chris, and maybe better, is Ray Longo, right? If he was drafted by somebody else who didn't know him so well, you would understand, hey, there's some questions, they're taking a risk on or whatever. Ray knows exactly what he's getting. He knows where Chris is at mentally, he knows his why intimately, and he knows the shape that he's in, and that's why seeing Ray draft him early says to me that Chris Weidman's at his game, on top of his game.
I almost feel like we should get Ray back on the show.
Ray, where's Ray?
Where's Ray? Let's bring him back.
Ray, you said it in the first interview. You talked about it, Coach. Look at the smile on your face. You got your guy.
Come on,
Continue
what
the
do
journey.
what do you expect me to do? I got to go with the All-American. I mean, and listen, to everybody's point, I'm more with Brendan Schaub. This is a guy that's a leader. I think he's going to be great in the locker room. Everybody looks up to him. When we would jive him in, the kids still today tell me they never seen anybody work out like him. He commands the room when he walks in. He's got that type of presence. I look forward to being the captain of the team that he's going to be on and what he's going to give to everybody else in that locker room. So, Brendan, I think your point is well taken. That's the way I was looking at it. And besides being one of my closest friends, we started this thing together. Well, me and Sarah started this thing, but Weidman was a big influence on where I've gotten to in my career. So I like to see what we could do in this environment.
And Coach, he did break his leg in half, and he has healed that and now is back from that. So intimately if he has any hesitation, how he is with his drive and commitment when he throws a kick, when he checks a kick, when he shoots a double. Where is he at mentally with the healing of the injury?
No, he's back with the healing of the injury. You see him, he throws the kick. It actually, every time he throws that kick, it makes me nervous as shit, to be honest with you. But, he's the guy that I think the injury, he wants to prove to his kids that, don't let anything stop you in life. And something as horrendous as this was and as gruesome, for him to come back is a big thing. And he looks like he's ready to go.
Yeah. And Coach, you talk about Chris's training. Chris is a guy, when I was in the UFC, when I was coming up, we heard legendary stories about Weidman's training. I mean, he was a mythical creature. And to scare guys like me down in SoCal and in Denver, and we're all professional athletes, and then when we would hear these crazy stories about Chris, Coach, is he still at that level? You're seeing him every day, day in, day out. Is he still operating at that high level that we were all terrified of trying to compete with?
I mean, look, the level you're talking about, it's true. Those weren't just stories. I don't know if he's at that level because that level was insane, but he's still at a really good level. And I think Anthony Smith said something a couple of months ago or maybe a year ago that when he went to train with Chris, after he got done, he said, how the fuck are you even losing fights? Like, I don't get it. He said, the guy is absolutely brutal. He is that guy. He wants to... I'm sure he's beating his kids at checkers. He's not letting them win anything. I mean, he's just a competitive guy.
Yeah, I love him.
Yeah. Ray, so great to be reunited with you like Peaches and Herb. And I mean, to have his 100%. Guy there who went on the journey. Yeah, I cannot wait, my friend. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Ray. And I just think the mental fortitude to come back after an injury like that is just incredible for Chris Weidman. So looking forward to seeing him back in the mix and back in the cage. But we're going to go now to our round 2, pick 8, Sao Paulo.
8th overall pick, Sao Paulo selects middleweight from Brazil, the phenom, Douglas Lima.
Oh, how good is that?
3-time Bellator welterweight champion, a real knockout machine, record there of 33-12.
Speaking of leg kicks.
Yeah, speaking the guy Chris Weidman wants to avoid.
Yeah. Everybody wants to avoid those kicks.
Yeah, you don't want to beat that kick.
I love the guy. And I talked at the top of the show about finishers. Here, how about this one? 16 wins by knockout or TKO. 8 in the first round, but how about saving points? 12 career losses. He has only, Robin, been stopped twice.
Yeah.
All that experience,
Yeah.
he has only been stopped twice. That is a durable man, and one of my favorites as a human being.
Physically durable and mentally bulletproof is Douglas Lima. And he's sophisticated and subtle too. Like, you think it's all brute force, crazy power in his kicks. It's not just that. It's the when he throws it, the why he throws it. He's got a million different ways to interrupt your movement, hit you on the exhale, hit you when you're off balance ever so slightly. And yeah, a great champion in Bellator. May they rest in peace. And yeah, man.
Douglas is probably one of the most underrated fighters we have on the roster. I mean, he never got his due. Never got his due because he's in Bellator. He's going to get it.
Yeah, he is going to get it.
And whoever's making the graphics thinks he's so damn good he beat Cain Velasquez, which is awesome. Yeah, but he did it. I don't want to. The viewers out there, he fought Cain. He didn't, but he could maybe.
Yeah, well, Cain wouldn't want to be kicked by him. We know that.
No one does.
Yeah, nobody does. Those kicks are absolutely massive. They're Jose Aldo type kicks, but give them to another Brazilian, obviously, who's a little bit bigger.
Do you know what? We're trending on X. We are top trend in the USA on X.
it.
So people are tuning in. I want to remind you that we are live. Keep those comments coming in as we move now to pick number 9, and it's Miami, Darren.
With pick number 9, Miami takes lightweight from the United States of America, Anthony Showtime Pettis.
Showtime, the former UFC and WAC lightweight champion. God, he has wins over Charles Oliveira, Wonderboy Thompson, Gilbert Melendez, Benson Henderson twice, Donald Cerrone twice. The list just goes on.
It really does. And Anthony Pettis is to the city of Milwaukee.
Yeah.
What Kevin Lee is to the city of Detroit. And Anthony Pettis, much like we talked about earlier with Tyron Woodley, he's really raised his stock. He's doing great with his business, with his own fight association, and he's still exciting to watch. He's always going to be Showtime. It's on his back. It's on his back forever, and he showcases those skills. The Showtime kick is legendary, and he boxed against the legend at Superman Roy Jones Jr.
Yeah, he definitely did. He was on a Wheaties box, guys.
Yes, he
Y'all
was.
must have forgot.
Yeah.
That's
Our
the
boy
achievement,
was on a Wheatie box.
Yeah,
I've been
true.
jealous since that day.
Yeah, and you shall be jealous for the rest of your life
Correct.
about
I don't
that,
think
my
I'm going to
friend.
make it, Robin.
Yeah, you know what? When you just watch him move, just to see how a human being expresses combative movement, you don't see many like him. Even at this stage of his career, you watch him just move through the world as a fighter, as a human being. When he throws a kick, it traces the shape of the body. He's so strategic mentally in combat. I mean, he's a different level of martial artist. He isn't combining, jiu-jitsu and boxing and kickboxing. He's just expressing it freely like it's all one thing.
Yeah, it's beautiful to see. My question for a guy like Anthony Pettis, again, similar thing to Chris Weidman. Right. What's his why?
Well,
he's done it all.
We're going to find out.
Yep.
And much like Weidman and obviously Ray Longo, you have the Duke Rufus prodigy in Anthony Pettis, and a shout out to Rufus Sport.
Yeah.
Duke's one of the best.
Wonderful.
The best of the best.
Wonderful
Yeah.
guy.
All right, well, moving us on swiftly. We're going back to London for pick number 10, Darren.
London selects lightweight from Sweden, the Mauler, Alexander Gustafsson.
Yes.
I cannot wait to see this man back in action.
Light heavyweight.
Pioneer
Oh, man.
of Swedish MMA. I mean, his fight against John Jones, the first one, arguably one of the best fights ever of all time. Would you agree?
So,
One of.
I've been told many times, and I probably will start being told many times again on social media, Cody, you know nothing about this sport. I'm like, why are you speaking? Why are you back? Like, okay, bring it. I'm not going to respond this time. I'm older. I'm wiser. But he fought in Stockholm, and I made the comment, now here's a guy who can challenge John Jones. And the world went crazy. What is that? Like, how about this? He's 6'5". John Jones is 6'4". What happened in that fight? It was one of the best in MMA history, Brendan. And the Mauler mauls people.
Yeah, and I fought on that card, and I thought I stole
You got a
the
bonus,
show.
right?
I
Yeah.
got the bonus. Choking out Matt Mitrione. Shout out to Matt Mitrione. Still love you, buddy. But Alexander Gustafsson, I trained with him for that fight. I've trained with everybody. You name it, your boys trained with him. He's the best I've ever seen.
Wow.
And if there was just if he was born 10 years later, he's your greatest of all time. He's that damn good.
The best fighters have the blend between their athletic platform and their skills, the expression of their skills. The margins are blurred, right? You are your skills, you are your body, and it just all blends together. And that's who he is. His entire game is built around his frame, and his frame is perfect for his game. game. And really tough to fight. Makes total sense in Europe, of course.
That's high praise, Brendan, because you have trained with everybody, and he's a UFC Hall of Famer, so let's see some more mauling.
Yep.
Can't wait. All right, to talk about the Los Angeles pick number 11, we have the GFL advisor, Jeffrey Pollock, standing by. Who is pick 11, Jeffrey?
With the 11th pick in the GFL 2025 draft, Los Angeles selects Aspen Ladd.
So there's our first female fighter.
First female
Go,
fighter.
Robin. There you go, buddy.
Yeah, she's former UFC, Bellator, and PFL, so she brings experience from several promotions into the GFL.
She's one of the most decorated female fighters in history. Former champion, very complete fighter. Potential rematch with Julia Budd, the Canadian.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely love that. But you want to have strong females on your team as well, because the point system, top to bottom, is the same. And so Aspen Ladd being selected as the first female in this year's draft, Robin, no surprise to any of us.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely people right now who were thinking it would be Holly Holm first. And
Sure.
there's the odd person thinking it would be Paige Van Zandt first. But this makes a lot of sense when it's just the purity of skill, the level of athleticism. You know, Professor Cordero knows exactly what he's doing. And it's a brilliant first pick. And forever, for the rest of time, she'll be the first woman ever drafted in the GFL.
And Cordero's, he's being smart about it. He's being very strategic because he got a finisher with his first pick with Verdum, and now you're getting more, you know, of a person who's going to get your points on your team, but not as much as a finisher.
Yeah, win fights.
Yes.
Yeah.
Win fights
Just
and
win.
keep on fighting.
Yep, just
and
win.
Aspen Ladd, and she is the top female pick of the new Global Fight League, Caroline.
And what a great pair as well. The axe murderer, Vanderlei Silva, is of course the general manager. Am I doing it right? I'm just going to do this.
You're doing it right-ish.
Like this?
Yeah, there you go.
Make sure
Before
you
it
gotta
looked like
have
she was
the,
doing
gotta have the
motion,
fingers,
right?
right? Yeah.
You're like this.
Okay.
It's so scary.
He's going to
So
be
scary
talking to
when
us
he does
in
that.
just a moment, but what a leader for that team.
You know, and Vanderlei and the professor being together, I mean, take us back to the streets of Curitiba. Take us back to the very start. Because in Curitiba, the Gracies are the Gracies, they're the greatest on the ground. But Curitiba was all about strikers. And Vanderlei, one of the originals with the professor, Rafael Cordero, Vanderlei, Anderson, I mean, Chris Cyborg, go down the list. It is not surprising at all that Vanderlei is teamed up with his mentor.
It's scary. It's scary. I mean,
Like Vanderlei
Yeah,
is.
it like scares me. Yeah, he scares me. man.
They call him the axe murderer.
The axe
Sean.
murderer. The axe
Yeah.
murderer. And he's a guy where if that's your coach, you're not making a lot of mistakes in practice, man.
There's footage of him recently training with a kid who disrespected him with a crescent kick to the face, and Vanderlei beat the crap out of him.
Yeah.
And that's a different kind of leadership, but that's that tough hand leadership. And Professor Cordero's cerebral. Vanderlei's also the sweetest, kindest,
Yes.
gentlest axe murderer that the planet has ever produced.
That's a real contradiction in terms.
I know. I like to do that. But the two of them together, this is shaping
team.
up so cool,
It's a great
man.
team.
We've got the two of them together. They are standing by. Let's bring them in. Vanderlei Silva, Rafael Cordero, great to see you both. First of all, what kind of pairing are you going to be? Like, what sort of leadership and coaching do the two of you bring together to your team?
First of all, it's a pleasure to talk with you guys. I was listening Mike say about our past. That's it. This is our history. This is the way we build our relationship. This is the way we build our brotherhood. So this is what I bring to the table. It's a pleasure to work with these amazing fighters, new generation, old generation. And at the end of the day, all those guys have experienced the 5 rounds. So they have experience of championship tournament. And with our experience, we want to bring fire for GFL.
And you always have, and you always will. Vanderlei, my man, the axe murderer, it is so great to see you. You're with your son. My first question is, okay, and we'll get to you in a second, Professor, but Vanderlei, if you're the GM and Hoppy is the coach, are you all of a sudden Rafael Cordero's boss? Are you his boss now? Because I want to know.
Então, é um imenso prazer poder estar aqui junto com vocês nesse grande evento.
It's a great honor to be with you guys. It's an awesome event, great opportunity.
Vamos trazer muita experiência e realmente muita bagagem para esse evento.
We're going to bring a lot of experience and a lot of weight to our division.
E vamos fazer esse evento ser o maior evento do mundo.
And let's make this event the biggest event of the world.
Love it.
Amazing.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. You know, and having Vandy as a leader, like you guys said, and your son looks great, and having him with Professor Cordero, it's a relationship that goes back decades, as I said, and so it's a perfect relationship for training. So I got to ask you, Professor, is he really your boss now, bud?
He is my favorite fighter. So he is.
Good. See, you're always so perfect.
Hey, Coach,
So,
is there any chance
can you imagine for me? I'm sorry.
No, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry.
Go ahead, Coach.
Can you imagine in my position, I have a pleasure to train all those guys, and you name it before. And the guys are my best friends. The guys are my idols. And the guys that I have a pleasure to sit next to them. And I saw these guys putting a lot of great show. It's not different now. And we sit by side. And it's going to be great to be with Vanderlei again.
Love it. Coach, you're getting pretty chummy with Mike Tyson. We see you all over the place with him. You're coaching Mike Tyson, especially in his last fight. Is there a chance you could bring Mike to kind of help the team out, maybe for a practice? Maybe in the fighter's corner, you have Vanderlei Silva and Mike Tyson. Can we see that? Scariest corner of all time?
Can you imagine?
Yeah, I can.
Everything can happen. Everything can happen. What about the hits? People say that I have more hits than Michael Jackson.
That's because you do it, Vanderlei. I'd like to see you and Iron Mike in a little sparring session as well, Vandy. That would be very special. As Vanderlei Silva and his son. That you got. If Mike comes around, you'll spar him immediately, won't you, Vandy?
Yeah. Quem sabe dia, né? Para mim seria uma grande honra, realmente, e quem sabe dia isso acontece.
It would be a great honor. I mean, who knows? Now, the world today, who knows? It would be a great honor, though.
I'll take Vanderlei.
I'll
take Vanderlei.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much to everybody. Two of the nicest people in the business. And you said it, which kind of sounds weird, but, you know, Hoppy, you are the man, you are the professor, you are a leader. And for Vanderlei, the nicest axe murderer that you've ever met. So thank you for being a kind axe murderer. See you guys. Thank you.
I would love to be in the training room with their team. That's going to be pretty awesome. All right, moving things along. Well, we're all excited as we work through this draft, which of course is live. Just to remind you to keep those comments coming. But we're going back to Darren now to announce the 12th pick for Team Dubai.
Dubai selects welterweight Abubakar Nurmagomedov.
He is the cousin of the famed Khabib Nurmagomedov, and I think with the last name Nurmagomedov, you got to live up to that name, but also you probably can fight pretty good.
Dad's the coach. I mean, Dad's the coach. Khabib is the coach's son. He's proven to be the best of the best. But you know what? All of those guys are very dangerous. They're really kind of taking over the landscape of mixed martial arts. And Rob Kamen all the time, you know, Dutch kickboxer. He used to always say, do it the Dutch way. Well, you know what I'm going to say to you, Brendan? These guys do it the Dagestan way, and it's highly effective.
Yeah, they're dominating. They're getting annoying like the Kansas City Chiefs. You know, they dominate. They dominate, and it's tough to say things, you know, are different for the Dagestanis. You know, they just have one way of doing things, and no one's been able to crack that code yet. They really haven't. Between Makhachev, Khabib, you're going to have your hands full. And you know they're trained by the best.
You know, in the UAE, they appreciate grappling. They appreciate jiu-jitsu. They appreciate the physical dominance of wrestling. And then, of course, the coach speaks Russian as well. So there's a real logic to this, right? And, yeah, when you've got the last name Nurmagomedov, we know you can grapple. We know you also probably wrestled bears when you were a kid.
Absolutely. And Makhachev, this is amazing to me, and especially a good tie-in with talking to Vanderlei and Professor. Anderson Silva still has the longest winning streak in UFC history at 16. Makhachev sits at 15. That is dominant.
And we just saw him have another title defense to have the most lightweight title defenses in the UFC. So I'm sure with Khabib probably helping that team as well, they're going to go from strength to strength. But as we round up round number 2, we're going to head over to Alex now. She's with Luke Barnett, the team manager from London.
GFL fans, I am being joined by the team manager of Team London, Luke Barnott. Thank you so much for taking the time. I mean, we have a lot of big news. First off, Gegard Mousasi and Alexander Gustafsson, the level of talent that GFL is really showing to the crowds. What was your first impression, and why was it so important to make sure they were part of your first two picks?
Well, me and Alex have a very long relationship. Me and Alex have been training together for 15 years. He used to travel over to the UK. And obviously, Gegard Mousasi, a European powerhouse, has been within mixed martial arts for decades and is an extremely talented guy. And for me, in GFL, as you see the talent coming through and the big names, I feel like Gegard and Alex in Europe and for Team London, they carry so much name power, and also at the later stages of their career, in the later years, 38 onwards, they're also probably the most dangerous guys in the division. I think they're the most dangerous picks that you could get and best fighters we could have as part of our team.
I love how you put that. Big names and also big power behind them. And I want to talk about the coach that you'll be partnering with, Carl Prince. He is the head of Manchester Top Team. How do you think your guys' skill set is going to complement each other to really have some success this season for GFL?
Well, I think that's one of the secret weapons that we have with Team London is me and Carl. Our synergy is fantastic. We've been working together close to a decade. We're involved in a lot of projects, within mixed martial arts. And the talent that he has at Manchester Top Team is so unknown. We have a few stars that have pushed through and gone on to big things, but he is dealing with extremely talented young fighters, and his mindset and his coaching ability, I think, is going to shine at GFL. I think people are going to finally pay attention, because there's big names in the fighters and there's also big names in the coaches that we have with GFL, and also the managers as well. And I think me and Carl will probably be extremely underestimated, but our work ethic and how we work together so well. He used to coach me, so I know him from a coaching perspective as well as from a business perspective. So I think we have a great advantage just through the fact that we know each other so well, we understand each other's intentions, and we kind of speak the same language from day one.
Yes, it's definitely a dynamic duo. I love what you're doing over there in Marbella, Spain, having a media company that's always pushing out what fighters really need. So I love your artistic aesthetic for that. And I got to ask you about these women divisions, because women's MMA is on such a rise, and now we are giving opportunities for 3 divisions to be filled. So what are your thoughts on the 3 divisions that GFL is providing?
I think it's such an important factor to have, females on display, like you said, bursting with talent and coming through. I think this at GFL is a fantastic opportunity, not just in the women's divisions, but in general for the younger, maybe less known athletes to come through and snipe and take out some fantastic names. I mean, obviously with the draft is happening and we're going to see which names go where, but I got my eyes on Josephine Knudsen, and she could have the opportunity to take on fighters like Paige Van Zandt and get those big names, that big value, those big wins, which could be big moments. And I think there's going to be a lot of big names in GFL that everyone knows, losing to the people that aren't so well known but have got that hunger and that fire. And I feel like we're going to see that, especially in the women's division. And these 3 women's divisions are the most dynamic and most exciting divisions that the female MMA offers. So, yeah, I mean, I'm super excited to have them a part of it. I'm looking forward to finding out who I got on my team.
Yes, a lot of opportunity for big names, upsets, so many different things that GFL will be providing. Luke, thank you so much for the time. Guys, stay with us. The GFL draft continues after this.
GFL is a global battle of 6 teams from 4 countries on 4 continents. London, Dubai, Sao Paulo, Miami, Los Angeles, and New York all compete in a 6-month tournament. Each city will put its pride on the line as it hosts fights during the regular season. Teams will score points, allowing them to move on to the semifinals and finals, where one team will be crowned GFL champion. Every fight has a maximum of 4 points available. Finish wins are 4 points, with 3 points given to decision wins. Draws gain competitors 2 points. Decision losses receive 1 point. Finish losses equal no points. Every fight counts if a team wants to be called champion.
New York, Sao Paulo, Miami, Protect your neck, cause you come next. Yeah, you oughta know best, this ain't no chess. I'm a dragon, my town, my cage, my nest. Protect your neck, cause you come next. Yeah, you oughta know best, come clean my mess. Have a dragon, my team, my honor, my chest. I'm haunted by a mountainous silhouette lurking under my skin, constricting my reason, it's fiending to break out and spin into carnage. I harness the havoc so I don't slip into sin, but the appetite's massive. I practice the path of discipline. Each elbow's a prayer, every knuckle's a vow. Keep darkness in captivity so it may not devour my sanity, clarity, both teetering on the brink. I'm scaring me, apparently I'm bleeding black ink. I cradle the chaos, cradle the fists that clash. Taste the salted sweat of regret each time I lash. If I can't find a ring or a mat, the monster tears at the seams, so I let it off the leash to defend my team. Protect your neck, cause you come next. Yeah, you oughta know best, this ain't no chess. I'm a dragon, my town, my cage, my nest.
Welcome back to the GFL Draft. And like Caroline said, we are trending on X. So if you want to get on this social corner, hashtag GFL Draft or tag me at AlexWendlingX. First off, Doughboy from Jersey. Hashtag GFL Draft is kind of fire. I can't even lie. I'm very excited to see what this league is going to do moving forward. A lot of positivity going on online, so we appreciate that. The MMA world needs a lot more of that and appreciation for this MMA league trying to help the fighters. The Punch Report said, so far, I'm not mad at this draft. I'll be rooting for the GFL just to hear what Dana has to say about them if they do well and live up to the hype. And then we had the steamroller, Matt Frivola in the comments. Longo and Weidman reunited and it feels so good. Hashtag GFL Draft. Keep the comments coming because we have much more action coming. I'll send it back to you, Caroline.
Thank you so much, Alex. So we're going to start to speed things up a little bit now. Give the fans what they want. So Darren, you're going to announce 3 teams at a time now. Over to you.
I selects middleweight Derek Brunson.
Okay.
Los Angeles selects lightweight Tony El Kukui Ferguson.
Nice.
And then London, strawweight from Sweden, Josephine Knudsen.
There we have it, 3 more picks. I'm going to start with Tony Ferguson. I think the fans want to see Tony Ferguson win. He went on that long winning streak in the UFC. He was the interim champion. He's here in the GFL now.
Yeah.
What are we expecting from Tony?
Well, you're going to expect fire because Tony always brings it. I mean, he's always in the baddest man talk. But he has fallen on some hard times. And so what happens, it's not what happens to the man, it's what the man does when it happens to him. And the one thing that you also learn in combat sports or anything in life, when you really start to have problems, the first thing you should do is look in the mirror and see what you can bring to the table to try to get things going again. And Brendan, when we were rehearsing yesterday, you simply said, and it's true, you can't ignore the slide that Tony's been on, but you can also not ignore that he wants to finish it quickly.
Yeah, I don't think, he ever got his flowers, in the UFC. And I think he's a guy that in one time, he was the baddest 155er on the planet. You'll argue Khabib. I would argue Tony probably would beat Khabib. He'd probably Darce choke him, something like that. And this is a matchup we never got to see. Has fallen on hard times. Again, I keep bringing this up. I hate repeating myself, but my question for Tony would be, what's his why? Like, what, is it because the way things ended in the last organization?
That would be a great why, though, right?
Yes, that would be a great why.
Guys, I got a plan. Somebody draft Dylan Dennis.
Yes.
Weight classes aside, doesn't matter. If somebody draft Dylan Dennis, everybody desperately would love that. People love Tony Ferguson. I love him. Want to see him win? Everybody hates Dylan Dennis. Put that together, it takes care of itself.
Well, to that note, I
somebody got to draft.
Dennis is my boy. Dylan's my boy. He was texting me. He goes, "Man, hopefully I get drafted. I'd love to fight Tony Ferguson in New York."
Ah, there you go. I like it.
Maybe someone will draft him.
And how about Derek Brunson?
Yeah. I mean, Derek Brunson.
I mean, I love the guy because he's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu under Renzo Gracie. And you kind of think of the one, Derek Brunson. You go, yeah, he was around for a while. He had his ups and downs. How about this? Think about this for a second. Tied for 3rd most wins in UFC middleweight division history with Robert Whittaker and some guy, Robin named Anderson Silva.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's you see a guy like Brunson, and you see his body, and you see how fast he is, and you think of his attributes, and you kind of forget that actually fighting happens in the brain, right? The brain interprets the movement. When we see a fastball hitter hit a ball, we know something is happening in the brain to slow it down and let it see it. Brunson fights like that. He sees everything unfolding in front of him, and he's able to pick spots. So yes, he is, a race car, but he's also an artist, and he's very, very sharp, and his brain is really good, and he just sees everything coming, sees it all unfold.
Yeah, and Derek Brunson is a guy, when you read off those accolades, Goldberg, you forget how good he is.
That's my point.
Because he wasn't the flashiest in the division. Yep. He got outshined by some other guys that talked a little more. Later in his career, he started talking a little more trash and got a little fan base from that. But when you look at his credentials, like, oh my God, he was so good. Even me, this is my job. And when you're reading those off, I'm like, that's right, he was so good.
Yeah.
He's still damn good.
And let's not forget, and obviously when Alex was talking to the leaders of Team London and Luke Barnett, he already talked about Josephine Knudsen. And so we've got a male and a female from Sweden who want to do some business and win a GFL championship.
Two good picks, and Luke's one of the smartest guys in the game, so he's being very strategic. And like he said, she's going to be able to pick off some of those bigger names. You guys know the Paige Van Zants of the world. Skill-wise, you're going to have your hands full.
Yeah. He's sitting there with a chessboard, for crying out loud.
Yeah, he was,
What an alpha move, am I right? A chessboard?
Absolutely, the Queen's Gambit.
Man, take it easy.
To our Queen again.
Well, we're still early on in the draft, plenty more picks to come. And Darren, now we've got another 3-team picks come in.
Sao Paulo selects undefeated welterweight from Argentina, Carlos Petruzella. New York, with the 18th overall pick, women's bantamweight from the United States of America, the preacher's daughter, Holly Holm.
And let us not forget, at pick 16, Yoel Romero, going to Miami, so that's special. But, Holly Holm just sat with us in the booth 2 weeks ago in Albuquerque at our bare knuckle event. And she should, forget the chessboard, she had the poker face on. First of all, she's a tremendous fighter. She's in the International Boxing Hall of Fame. Yes. She has the biggest win in female UFC history in Melbourne, Australia, when she finished Ronda Rousey, who was unbeaten at that time. The preacher's daughter does it all. And she's a very special person. She's a really good broadcaster. I say, hey, I'm going to help you get some gigs. Well, she got another gig, doesn't she, Robin?
Yeah, and when somebody, she's just the best of the best. And when she retires one day, hopefully not that soon, we'll remember her as one of the greatest female mixed martial artists. And she's like a boxing Hall of Famer, right? Yeah. She's one of the great women fighters in human history. And we got her.
And you're getting a great team leader. You're getting a great team leader who's been at the highest level. And at Jackson, she was so well respected. So it's a great pick.
Yeah.
And Miami, of course, Yoel Romero, that's basically his home
absurd.
Now. That's a great pick. And that is a true competitor.
True. To say the least, Colby, Yoel Romero should scare every man. If you think you're tough, I want you to stand next to Yoel Romero. That guy's an absolute freak. I have no idea how old he is. You can tell me 21, Goldie, you can tell me 66. I'd believe both of you guys.
And it's irrelevant.
If I ever asked him, I'm going to say, you can be any age you want.
That way anyone actually knows, do they?
Nobody knows. His parents don't even know. But the other thing that's crazy about Yoel Romero, there's some poor soul out there that decided to fight him in bare knuckle.
Yeah. Our friend Mike Perry has a bare knuckle show, and you all just showed up, and he wasn't charged with murder, but he could have been. He could have been.
It's illegal in most states, especially in California, Newsom. Yeah. But he's a guy that is absolutely terrifying. Has competed at the highest level, one of the greatest wrestlers to ever compete in the UFC.
And that most fast twitch human being that lives and walks. His body and his nervous system is so fast.
We don't look like the same species.
Yeah, you're right. And congratulations, Sao Paulo's pick, Carlos Petruzella. He is in the GFL officially as well.
Yeah, and talking about Sao Paulo, we do have their general manager, the legend himself, former UFC light heavyweight champion, Lyoto Machida, standing by. Lyoto, good to see you.
Hey guys, how are you? Good to see you guys.
Really good. Talk to us about your picks so far. You've got a legend, you've got a prospect, you've got somebody who's undefeated. What was the thought process behind those initial picks?
I think it's a good pick because Carlos is a guy from Argentina. He's undefeated. I think he a well-rounded fighter. He can submit the guy, and also he can knock the guy out. And I think it's a good for my team. And Holly Holm too, right? Holly Holm.
Yeah.
She's very special. Yeah. As are you. You know, Lyoto Machida. To the bang?
Yes.
You good? To the bang?
Yeah. To the bang. Great.
To the bang. To the bang. Yeah. I'm learning little by little. You know the story, right? But I want to go back to that day in Rio de Janeiro where I couldn't find a 5-hour energy. And I said, Lyoto, help me. What do I need? And you took me to the store next door. And what'd you get me again?
I got you Guaraná.
Yes.
Guaraná is a powder that gives you energy, a very natural powder that gives you a lot of energy. Did you feel, right?
Oh, absolutely. I still feel it. It's still in my system, Lyoto.
Sensei, he's got a lot of energy, Sensei Machida. For you, martial arts is a way of life. It's a philosophy. It's the way you live your life as a martial artist. Will these attributes of honor and respect and integrity and these things that are elemental to you as a martial artist, will they be represented in your team as well?
Of course. For me, this is the main thing for me is the martial arts philosophy that I want to apply in whole my team. Bring that to the JFL. For me, it's gonna be like more than everything. Of course, the technique is so important, but bring together with the philosophy is people never gonna forget about JFL and about my team.
And Lyoto, you're looking in shape, brother. It's good to see you. Are you going to be training with the team? You going to jump in there? We're going to see some front kicks like you did Randy Couture?
Hey, I train every day. I'm in shape for that. I've been preparing myself for something new, and all of a sudden, Global League is the main thing for me right now. I have to be there, train with everyone, and show my signature move, front kick.
Yeah, I love it, brother. I miss you, bud.
I miss you too. You're one of the kindest gentlemen that I've ever met, not just in combat sports, but on this planet. So, muito obrigado. Do I say base ciao too? Does that work between you and I?
Yes.
Okay, good.
I can't do that, man. We are so good friends, man. Thank you, Mike, for everything.
Thank you, Lyoto. I love you, brother. Great to see you, and look forward to seeing your team.
Yes, for sure. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Brandon, Robin, Caroline, everybody. Obrigado. Thank you.
Thank you. Best of the best.
Yoda.
Talking of the best, though, we do have a very special guest to introduce officially the 16th pick. Here's a man pretty much considered the GOAT by many people. He's the UFC heavyweight world champion who needs no introduction. Take it away.
With the 17th pick, Miami chooses the one, the only, Yoel Romero. Congratulations, guys.
So we were saving the GOAT to be able to tell us about that man right there.
The GOAT. And Dana tells you he's pound for pound number one. You know,
well, he's actually changed his mind now. He did confirm it's now Islam Makhachev.
Oh, he come to his senses.
He was pressured, I think.
You guys know that promoters' jobs is to convince people of things, right?
No.
Yes.
They're trying to sell fights?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, well, with that, I'm going to send it back to Alex. Do you want to talk a little bit about some of the budding rivalries and rematches that we might have in store?
What a round 3 we just had. We got to talk about that Tony Ferguson pickup and also go back to the first round when we got Kevin Lee. Kevin Lee posted on his Instagram stories earlier today a screenshot of the draft eligibility pick of Tony Ferguson, and he captioned it, "Let the games begin." So we have some rivalries cooking already. We also have some tweets supporting Yoel Romero getting the pick for Miami from Dub Dubs. Dub Dubs MMA says Yoel Romero will carry his team. This man does not age like a normal human. Congrats, Miami. You just won. #GFL, #GFL draft. If you want to be featured on this social corner, just #GFL draft. And we also have to give a shout out to McGizzle Faux Shizzle, just being positive energy. He said, "This is different. Pretty exciting watching everyone get drafted." So we have much more coming up and many more matchups that we're going to be able to talk about with this draft.
Okay, we'll move on now to round number 4. And again, we'll keep things going with 3 picks at a time, 3 teams at a time. Darren, who's next?
The 19th overall pick in the GFL draft, New York selects Melissa Amaya. Sao Paulo with the 20th overall selection. From Argentina, the undefeated Camila Reynoso. And then Miami at pick 21, women's atomweight from Russia, Natasha Kuzetina.
All right, so the women are in action in this round.
Well, I would just say la 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 mamba. I mean that's what she is, you know. It's la 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 mamba, and she's young in her career. She's one of these rising stars that we talked about. And Melissa's going to bring it. She always does.
Yeah, and it's fascinating that, you know, these coaches and general managers are sort of thinking in the same rhythm, that they all kind of land on the top available females right here, right at this point.
As you called it, to your point, as you called it, because remember, the females as well as the men, it's the same points.
Yeah, that's
so you got to
right.
be very strategic on picking the female fighters just as you do the male fighters. So it's all going according to plan. These coaches aren't dumb.
Yeah.
They know exactly
And then
what to do.
Argentina comes into play with Reynoso as a pick for Team Sao Paulo. So Argentina's in, and then what Russian doesn't fight at a very high level. So congratulations to Natasha as well. Those are we're starting to see the women start to build. And again, 4 points is 4 points. Doesn't matter what weight class. Doesn't matter who you're fighting. Just get those 4 points.
I'm surprised Paige isn't off the board yet.
Yeah, actually, you're right.
If I'm a coach, I'm taking Paige.
Yeah, and now all these ones taken in front of her. Now Paige is mad at them.
Yeah. she's gonna elbow them in the face, definitely.
I don't think she worries about things like that.
Yeah, that's very true.
She's doing pretty well.
She's doing pretty good. All right, well, we do have the management team for Team Miami standing by, Tiago Alves and Conan Silveira. Nice to see you both. And start with you, Tiago. What do you think of your picks so far?
We're very confident in our picks. You know, we got 2 former champions, one guy that fought for the UFC belt many, many times, you know, and the new prospect, Natasha. I actually know Natasha very well. We know Natasha very well. She is a killer. We're very excited to put her, you know, to compete and show all her skills out there.
It's going to be fun to watch. And Tiago, good to see you again, my friend. And also, Coach
Always
Conan,
good to see you, man.
it's been too long. Thank you, Tiago. It's been way too long, Coach. You guys have always had that bond down at American Top Team. It's Brazil 2.0, or it's the U.S. home of Brazilian fighters. You guys together, as you've been for most of your life, I love the smile on both your faces right now.
Yes, of course. We work together daily basis anyway, so we know each other really well. I mean, it's going to be incredible. I believe so much in for the structure. I can't go without saying that, the structure, the benefits. And I feel then GFL comes with the gold age of MMA, like using the president's words, you know, the gold age of MMA. So I believe so much that a lot of the fighters is going to have so much to give, to show in GFL.
Coach Alves, you guys chose JDS first overall as your first pick when it got to you. You see him every day. Is this guy, when we saw him fight bare knuckle, he was moving incredibly. Has he turned back the clock? Why does he look so good right now?
I think it's just, you know, he's really comfortable on his skin. You know, he knows what he's all about. And, you know, he knows that he can knock anybody out. So that gives you a lot of confidence. And he kind of took time off to rejuvenate and reinvent himself. And we're very excited. That's why he was our first pick, because we knew he was going to do a lot of damage. And possibly this is your next heavyweight GFL champion.
Yeah, it's a great pick. This question's for both you legends down there in Miami. For you guys, like we know the Hector Lombards, we know the Yoel Romeros, the Junior Dos Santos. Is there a young prospect on your roster that you think is going to make some waves in the GFL?
Responde, Thiago.
Go ahead, Coach.
Go ahead.
Okay, all right. So I think right now, Natasha, you know, Natasha is our prospect that you guys just, you know, our fourth pick. I think Natasha's going to do a lot of damage. A lot of people don't know about her, but she is a former, you know, judo medalist and an Olympics. So Natasha is going to put a lot of people on notice on this weight class.
Without question, and we take a look at the picks thus far for Team Miami. We talked about Junior Dos Santos, Showtime, Yoel Romero, and Natasha is the first prospect. And Coach, obviously, Thiago, you have great confidence. Obviously, Conan, you have great confidence. But going with that golden age that you brought up before, I said it right at the top of the show, Conan. I said, this is the golden age. And who doesn't want to revisit Mount Rushmore again and again and again, right, my friend?
I agree with you 100%. I think that GFL is going to bring the heat, is going to bring the what people really wants to watch. And at the end of the day, is to show the team together, united. So I'm so excited for to see everything already. I wish that we're starting fighting next week. That's what I want to see.
So do we.
Well, thank you both so much for joining us. I wish we were starting next week as well, but you've got a little bit more time to prepare your team. We can't wait to see who else you picked. We will see you in the GFL. Thank you.
And tell Junior, hey, buddy, hey, buddy.
Brilliant. Okay, I'm going to move us along now. We are still live here at the GFL Draft. We're still in round 4, and Darren has our pick 22 to 24.
Pick 22, London selects featherweight, the Pikey, Brett Johns. Los Angeles, 4th round pick, is an all-time bantamweight. You know him as the California Kid, Uriah Faber. Ooh. Special guest to introduce the next pick for Dubai.
The first pickup, the 4th round of the JFL Draft. Dubai selects heavyweight from Russia, the undefeated Ali Isaev.
Ooh, that was well done. And you know what? I mean, he was one of the pioneers, obviously, one of the great guys, but he's a great fighter. He's as good an actor. Every movie you watch with action, he's in it now.
Total legend. Introducing a future legend.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. It is a beautiful thing. And obviously we talked about Brett Johns, but to me, I think California, Uriah Faber, he's leader, obviously. He is the alpha in Team Alpha Male.
Yeah, he's the team alpha, and he's been doing it for a long time at a high level. And being the leader of the team, the captain of the team, he's a great pick. I'm surprised he didn't go. I'm surprised he didn't go earlier.
Yeah,
it's Uriah Faber, man.
He's in crazy shape.
Think about the guys that come out of it.
Yeah, I know. He's in there.
Chad Mendez.
Yep.
He's in there training and coaching him all the time. And the thing is, when the leader goes to fight, everybody gets jazzed. Everybody's part of it. The whole army is going, But I saw him in Paris. He looked in killer shape, lean and fit. But Brett Johns too, man. Wales has made some amazing fighters in their time, and Brett Johns has great wins in the UFC, great wins in Bellator. The Pikey, like I said, man, the Welsh make a different type of rugged, hard-nosed, tough fighters.
I'll be in Wales in 8 days.
I was going to say, well, have you been to Wales?
Hey, Mom is Welsh.
Yeah. Yes. So congratulations to those guys, and I'm so excited, Caroline, about Uriah.
Oh, no, me too. California Kid is back. But I do have with us the head coach of Team Dubai, and it is the one and only Javier Mendez. So good to see you. We know you know what it takes to coach champions. So with your picks so far, have they got what it takes to become the GFL champion?
Well, we'll see. It's individuals that I think that are ready for it, but I really can't say they take what it's going to be what going to take to make him a champion until I actually get to see him firsthand. I've seen them mostly on TV, but it's not the same as when you're actually with them in person. When you're with someone in person, you have a better idea. It's just like the horse trainer that he's with the horse all the time. He knows what that horse is going to do and what he's capable of doing and when he's capable of doing it. So it's yet to be seen, but I have a great crop of people on my side, and I'm looking forward to seeing how far they can go. And I like my chances. I like my chances really well.
Hey, Coach, what was the logic with picking Tyrone Woodley your number 1 pick? Obviously, we know the obvious reasons because he's not really an AKA guy. He's trained with you before, maybe back in the day, but he's really not an AKA guy. So that's why I was just a little surprised he was your number 1 pick when looking at the full roster.
Well, basically, Tyron and I get along really well. I did a little stint for him on that reality show. He did the fight show from Russia. And
Yes.
he's highly intellectual, highly motivated, and he's actually, very smart. So he understands me, and we had a little conversation about certain things in regards to how he was training for one of his fights. And he asked my opinion of what maybe he should have done, and I told him, and it kind of gave him a big eye-opening experience. And then from that point, I said, this guy is somebody that's willing to listen to me. So I like the fact that he's willing to listen to me. I like the fact that he's a high level wrestler, because a lot of these wrestlers that have that point like what he has, they don't utilize it properly. Well, I'm one of the few individuals that get these guys to utilize their wrestling to the full capacity. So I love wrestlers. Wrestlers are great for me to work with, because that's basically, in what I call chess, I call that a queen. And they know how to use their queen really well.
Love it.
Javi, I asked this earlier. Vanderlei Silva is the GM and Rafael Cordero is the coach. Talk about great wrestlers, former champions. Cardio Cain Velasquez is your GM. So Javi, I've got to ask you the same question. Does that make Cain your boss all of a sudden after all these years?
Cain will never be my boss. He has the title. He'll never be my boss.
I love it, Javi.
Love it. Coach, for our audience watching in North America, you've relocated to Dubai and Tyron's there. There's a whole fight culture and a combat identity over there. Tell us a little bit about how it's different to coach and train fighters and grow as martial artists in Dubai.
Well, in Dubai, it's a whole new system. They're not really used to the hard training. They're not really used to the lifestyle of a fighter just yet. But they're eager to learn, and they're very ambitious, and their willingness to come and learn here, it's pretty impressive. So it's going to take a little bit of twist, little tweaks here, little tweaks there, but it'll work out. It'll work out really well in the end. I'm very excited to see what we can produce. And remember, if I have 1 weak link, but maybe I got 7 real good ones, so the chances of going 7-0 on team competition are good, or 6-0 for 6-4. I'm sorry, is good. So all we have to do is win 4 out of the 10, right? And then we win. So to me, it's like I have a weak link. We work on the weak link, and the excitement part is just like wrestling. High school wrestling. I used to love it because we'd always go at the end of the wire. It comes out the last person that whoever wins that match wins the whole fight. So this is the same kind of concept. So if people understand that concept, they're going to love it, because their favorite team, and it's not their favorite fighter, it's their favorite team.
Yep. Love it.
And we love that team aspect. We touched upon it earlier. Javi, thank you so very much. And I think Cain would probably say he's never going to be your boss either, because he is a humble world champion.
Yes, he is. He's a beautiful
Thank
person.
you so
I
much,
love him.
Javier. And congratulations last weekend
myself
on
included.
Islam's title defense as well. There he is. Javier Mendez. Well, now I want to throw us to Alex, who is with a very special VIP of the GFL.
Here with Magic Marlon Moraes, and he is signed for draft eligibility. So Marlon, tell me about your excitement for the potential of competing in 2025 under GFL.
Listen, I've been fighting for a long time, and I fought for UFC championship. I was a champion. I was a world champion before. I defended my title multiple times. Now I want to leave a little bit of legacy for the GFL. I spoke with Darian. There is a good friend of mine since I fought for World Series of Fighting. And like you said, Magic Marlon Moraes. And I'm bringing back some magic. And now at my weight division, at bantamweight, where I knock people out, and that's what I'm bringing to the table. I'm bringing knockouts. I'm bringing finishes. I'm taking off the boring fights, and they know I'm either gonna finish or I'm gonna finish. And I'm training, and I feel good. I had some time off, and I can't wait to perform again. I miss that feeling.
And with your role as the GFL, as the head of the GFL's Athlete Association, how do you think your experience as a fighter really helps you be a conduit towards the athletes?
Because I know what we need, and I know what the promotion needs from the athlete. So I'm going to fight for both sides.
Well, we are lucky to have you there as a communication source between the fighters and the league itself. Thank you so much, Marlon. We cannot wait to see what we get from you in 2025.
GFL is a global battle of 6 teams from 4 countries on 4 continents. London, Dubai, Sao Paulo, Miami, Los Angeles, and New York all compete in a 6-month tournament. Each city will put its pride on the line as it hosts fights during the regular season. Teams will score points, allowing them to move on to the semifinals and final, where one team will be crowned GFL champion. Every fight has a maximum of 4 points available. Finish wins are 4 points, with 3 points given to decision wins. Draws gain competitors 2 points. Decision losses receive 1 point. Finish losses equal no points. Every fight counts if a team wants to be called champion.
Welcome back to the live GFL draft. I'm your host, Caroline Pierce, still joined, of course, by Mike Goldberg, Robin Black, Brendan Sharp, and we've had rounds 1 to 4. The teams are really starting to shape up. Your thoughts so far?
My thoughts are I'm absolutely thrilled. I couldn't be happier. I couldn't be more excited to see all the great friends and the family, if you will, that I've met over the years in this great combat world, in the combat world that includes mixed martial arts. I've got chills right now. It just continues. And to be able to call these fights, work with such great people once again, that's really what I've taken in so far is what I said at the top of the show. You have this dream, and all of a sudden, it's coming true, Brendan.
It's coming true, and you're seeing familiar faces and the coaches, the managers we all know picking their guys. I love to see it. Can you imagine if Weidman went to another team? Like how heartbreaking. Like what the hell? He's in Miami. What are we doing? So it's just great to see. And it's good to see that they're taking it serious and the strategy. And you're seeing, to your point earlier in the hour, the finishers. Then you're seeing fill it in with some of the people that maybe not finishers, but they're going to get points for the team. So and even Javier saying, we just got to win 4 and we can win this thing. So these guys are putting a lot of effort. I love to see it.
They're already thinking that, you feel the enthusiasm. It's real. You know, the fighters are enthusiastic. The coaches and managers, even more than you might have expected. But in retrospect, of course, these are driven, obsessively, driven to win types. But we'll be talking about the model lots and people who are fascinated by, entrepreneurship and startup and stuff. But this is a different model. It's a completely different model. And you might say, well, this doesn't work. Well, it's never been tried, and yet it's also been tried in all those sports you guys watch.
Absolutely.
The NFL and you guys watch, and the NBA and all that stuff
Hang on,
you guys
Sloopy,
watch.
Baby, national champions, The Ohio State University.
So can it work here? And a lot of people are buying in, and at least, buying into the idea, like, let's do it. Let's do it.
And Caroline, not just finishers, but those like Douglas Lima, who are rarely finished. That's a good point, too.
A really good point. We're next going to reveal the entire roster for every team. So get set for that. Before we do that, I want your predictions and expectations for what that whole rounded out team will look like for each of the 6.
Caroline, at this point, I think you're looking at matchups. You're absolutely looking at the matchups that could be favorable to your team. So many of the picks have now been revealed. You know the top dogs that are on each squad from each city all around this great globe. So now, who do we want to match up to knock this woman or this man off the top of the mountain? Who are we going to see in those matchups? That is what I've seen so far, Robin.
I think just having the fact that we just got to speak with Javier Mendez, I think you're going to see a ton of wrestlers, a ton of Russians, because he has experience with the Russian fighters. And in Dubai, they appreciate the Dagestani fighters, the Russian fighters, grappling, jiu-jitsu. He speaks the language. You're going to see a wrestling-heavy, dominating type of grinding team. And I think Lyoto is going to put together a bunch of classical martial artists that come from Brazil.
That fit his style. Yeah, I think you're going to see now that if this is the NFL draft, this is the 4th, 5th, and 6th round where you're looking for those.
Where Tom Brady was selected.
Correct. You're looking for those utility players. They might not be the biggest names, but they can add value to the team. It's a puzzle. And you're finding those perfect puzzle pieces to make your team the world champion. So this is where it gets interesting. The earlier picks are probably the easiest ones.
Right.
The obvious ones. Now you're looking at the Paige Van Zants, you're looking at the Dylan Dennis's, all that kind of fitting on your team? The team chemistry, does it fit on your team? So these picks are important. Don't get twisted. Some of the later picks are some of the best to ever do it.
I'm sorry to be a distraction, but this Tom Brady you guys were speaking of, did he fight for Bellator? I don't.
No,
no, they couldn't get him fights.
Championship.
Oh, okay.
He wanted to.
He was winning too many Super Bowls, and
Super Bowls. What is that?
He did play for that team up north, but he's still the GOAT.
Well, if you talk to the Brazilians backstage at any event, he was just the former husband of Giselle.
Yeah, that's
kind of how he's
Jiu-jitsu
known.
guy. The jiu-jitsu guy. Yeah.
Right.
That's the one. Well, look, let's not wait any longer. Moving on swiftly.
Good timing, Caroline.
Let's not wait any longer. Let's reveal the full Team Dubai and see if you're right.
Let's see it.
So you're thinking heavy wrestling focus for this one.
Hey, back
Here it is.
when we all started this thing, and Jeff Blatnick, the Olympic gold medalist, may he rest in peace. It was all about, and Joe said it a million times when I'm sitting next to him, you can dictate where the fight takes place if you can wrestle. And yeah, you got the grappling heavy roster for Team Dubai.
Yeah, and I mean, it was Coach Mendez who tipped his hat to that, but yeah, take a look. How many Nurmagomedovs have you got on that one? But then you throw in a Luke Rockhold in there who still moves like a ninja in his own right, and Big Todd Duffy, that dude smashes people.
Luke, all about the highlight reel finish, but yesterday in rehearsal, you're saying, let's see the whole game that Luke possesses, right?
Yeah, when I watch Luke fight, as good as he is, he drives me crazy. He drives me crazy because if you've ever trained with Luke...
Because he's so handsome.
That too, that's distracting, but the issue with Luke Rockhold is as good as a striker he is, and you guys all know him as a striker, he throws those great question mark kicks and the spinning back kick and all that fancy stuff. He's a phenomenal grappler, and you don't see it. Yeah. You don't see it. It drives me absolutely nuts.
So, where he used to fight in the UFC, you got paid. There was a real push towards a certain type of performance that maybe sometimes was not the smartest way to fight if you wanted to get paid. Here, you got to win. Of course, you got to finish. But hey, you can finish with a triangle choke. You can finish with a rear naked choke.
He can do that.
Yeah, he can do all of that.
He can do it. Especially at his age, he has to fight smarter, more strategic, and that's in his arsenal. A lot of guys, they don't have that choice. Luke has that choice.
Mm-hmm.
Luke Rockhold is really a handsome lad, and it does anger many of us every single day.
Not you.
Well,
not me.
On that note, we have another reveal coming up. But before we break down Team Los Angeles, the 8th overall pick in the 2017 NFL Draft wanted to announce a particular friend first.
With the 68th pick in the 2025 draft, Los Angeles selects Grant Neal.
There you go, announcing Grant Neal. That's quite a person to announce. You love it.
And a great place where he trains out of Genesis Training Academy in Denver. I mean, an offspring that went out there and all of a sudden prospered as a gym, prospered with fighters. And Grant Neal is a guy who wants to prove a point, but more so than anything, I want to tell you this. Christian McCaffrey would not be where he is today if it weren't for my powerful partner, Brendan Schaub. And you can be humble, but it's true. It's true.
It's true. Yeah, he owes me 10%. No, I did coach him when he was a kid. I was friends with his dad, Ed McCaffrey, and he would do a football camp every summer. And there was this, he was like 8 years old maybe, and I was like, God, that kid's special. And Ed goes, that's my son. I went, oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. Super at 8. Outlier, complete freak.
How old were you then? How old are you?
I'm as old as Yoel Romero, my man. Yeah.
Well, let's get to the full Los Angeles team, of which we've already revealed one, but this is the full look at Los Angeles. The City of Angels coming right up.
We talked about it right at the top, number 2 pick overall, Super Sage Northcutt. Alpha male, Chad Mendez. There you go. Andre Arlovsky, Frank Mir. Sugar Rashad Evans, Tony Ferguson, Uriah. This is great.
Alima Lay, man.
So right now she's going to be Team Los Angeles.
Yes.
Next season there'll be a Team Hawaii, and that will be led by Alima Lay.
Yeah, and also
is that official?
Send us there.
Unofficial.
Yeah, send us there. But when you look at the Team Los Angeles roster, I mean, think about that training room. You got Rashad Evans, former world champion. Frank Mir, are you kidding me? The knowledge on that guy. Andre Arlovsky, Uriah Faber, Tony Ferguson. I mean, for a guy, and this is why I tell you, Sage Northcutt's my dark horse in this entire tournament to win the whole damn thing. Look at all the legends he has in that training room. You look at it. Chad Mendez, for God's sakes.
And Aspen Ladd, the first female to be selected
Jessica
in the draft.
Penne, come on, man.
Jessica Penne, the Mongoose, Lorenz Larkin, and the owner of the most violent head kick finish in Ultimate Fighter history, Uriah Hall.
Yeah, very few people can move like Uriah Hall. When he launches a weapon at a target, if it touches, you go to sleep.
Watching him knock out Gegard Mousasi in Japan was
Let's put
pretty
them back
spectacular.
together. Let's put those two
Listen,
back
there's a
together.
long run history with Uriah Hall and Chris Weidman.
Yeah.
He fought even before they came to the UFC, and Chris, choked him out. So there's a whole history there. You could run that narrative.
But I'm traumatized from watching the leg break. So
By the way,
I don't know if I
Gegard
want to see
got that
again.
one back too, as I recall.
Yeah, he sure did.
He did.
He sure did.
He did. Well, standing by, we have a member of Team LA. It is El Kukui, Tony Ferguson, who joins us live. And alongside the California
with
kid.
the California
They're
kid.
together.
Two
Side
legends.
by side, Uriah Faber. What's up, guys?
Oh, it's great to see them.
Oh, yeah.
Love it. Tony, let me start with you, Tony. Can we expect the same dynamic, exciting fighting style that we've grown to love from you over the years?
Yeah, man. I lost track of a lot of things going through the years. I mean, from fighting for obviously the previous organization to moving to this one. I've played that sport for that company and did every single side quest I possibly could. So when this came up, I was excited for it. I mean, I've been wrestling since I was little. I played many sports at the top level, but individual sports and team sports, this is completely different. And I like the format because you can see when you're putting in the work, you're not just earning it for yourself, you're earning points for the team. Kind of like wrestling. Javier Mendez was talking about how you're earning points not just for yourself, you're earning points for your team. And I've been looking for something like this for a very long time, so I'm fucking stoked, pardon my language.
You always are. You always put on a show, Tony. I'm excited to call more of your fights. And also, Uriah, my buddy, it's so good to see you. And it's
What's up,
interesting
buddy?
because we haven't seen each other in a couple of years. I don't think you've had a haircut in those couple of years, have you, bud?
Yeah, I haven't been doing much but being a dad and obviously in the gym still. I did a little competing last year just for fun, went against a couple world champions in jiu-jitsu, and I like to test myself still. And I actually, this whole sequence of events was kind of like serendipitous. I basically had started this new project, gotten this process called 100.com, and I just given a speech to my team about the sensei. If it weren't for Father Time, the sensei that was 90 years old would be the baddest man on the planet. And if they could just cheat Mother Nature and stay young, etc. And I've been working on getting myself to reverse aging. You know that guy, the Don't Die guy. I watched that on Netflix. My buddy,
He looks like a big
Tyler
baby,
Smith. Yeah. My guy Tyler Smith has been on this whole hunt for like reverse aging. So I've been on this like cutting edge protocol. And the first thing I did was get my blood test. It's a company called 100.com. And they basically said without doing anything that I was, at the testosterone and health of a healthy 26-year-old. And that was the beginning. That was before I did any protocol and whatnot. Next day after that, I've given this speech. I talked to my guy in my business group who's launching this company and started the process. I get a call to be entered in this thing, and what an opportunity. I saw Hanan Barao. I've got 2 losses against that dude. Both I was filling in. He was filling in for Dominic Cruz when he was injured, and the second time I was filling in for Dominic Cruz when he got injured. Both times never got a fair shake, so hopefully I'll line up against that dude at some point because that's what I'd like to get back, and I'm having fun competing, and I feel, hey, the blood test says I'm 26. I knew it in my heart.
I need that blood test.
Now I got proof, so let's go, baby.
Yeah,
You're like
Uriah,
Benjamin
so does
Button.
the hair. The hair is, worthy of that as well. I can't help but see the poster over your shoulder. Main event, Uriah Faber and Mike Brown. Mike Brown is now one of the best coaches, and you know him very well, Tony. Mike Brown's one of the best coaches out there, and Uriah, you've got that coach mindset since day one because you are the alpha at Team Alpha Male.
Well, one of them. We got a team of alphas and alpha males and alpha females, and it's been so much fun throughout the years, continuing to grow. Your knowledge base as somebody that stays in the gym, who's constantly learning and watching, the best in the world do it and trying to bring them up to speed. Your knowledge base goes and then grows, and so being able to take all that knowledge and still feel healthy. I kind of proved it last year. I did a match with Bibiano Fernandez out in ADXC, who is fighting competitively in 1FC, the most winning champion ever there, current world champion. He just won the Jiu-Jitsu World Championships for the Masters, and then before that, Jeff Glover. And I'm like, you know what, why not? Let's roll the dice. And I love the new format. I love representing Cali, and I think this is a great little format to have a lot of fun and bring something extra to the sport.
And Uriah, it's only right that you're in Team LA. And Tony, I'll come back to you. I mean, Uriah's talking there about rematches with Renan Barão. Are there any fights that you would like? Any rematches? Any sort of new fights that you can see from the roster so far?
Okay, so it's kind of crazy. I went through a period of my life where nobody wanted to fight me. And then all of a sudden, everybody wanted to fight me. And then, yeah, so it's kind of interesting how it goes. My whole life has kind of been like that. It's been ups and downs, and downs. And so right now, I see a lot of people. I heard Dylan Dennis's name, Kevin Lee, there's all these names which is in there. I have one thing that I have to do. I reached out to some of my old and I'm linking back up with them. The one thing that happened before I started losing all these matches was I lost touch of myself. And Brandon, I remember you said something about people knowing what their why is, right?
Yes, that was my question for you, Tony, before you answer. Yeah, that's what I want to know. Why is Tony doing it? Why is Tony doing it? You've done it all, and you've had some bumps in the UFC, and you were the greatest to ever do it. My question for you before I kind of co-sign you fighting, not that it's up to me, but my question for you was, why is he doing it? What's Tony's why? And then if I'm sure you have an explanation, then we can go from there.
I was sat here and I had this conversation. We were watching, when I first started the GFL, and I heard you saying ask the why. And my wife asked me my why. Everybody has a why. And for the longest time, I thought my why was my why, and it really wasn't. I was doing things for the wrong reason. Not the bad reasons or good reasons. It was just not the reasons which I needed to stay focused. But in the process of doing all this, I've grown immensely. You're talking about learning how to bounce back from losses and wins. Like, I could tell you already, growing up, I only have a handful of losses in different sports, man. It just never happened. And then God was like, look, dude, you're going to take this period of your life and you're going to start to figure out exactly what you want to do. You're going to figure it out. Otherwise, you're going to get hurt. And through each entire fight, I was taking these fights to stay active, as I'd like to stay active. I've been competing in sports for 35 years, man, in multiple sports. I have taken my very first break, Brandon, and I took 6 months off after I got my hair did from Bosley. Actually, it's funny how it works, but my new hairline, and I couldn't work out. I couldn't sweat for a while. And I want to say shout out to them and my management of Vayner Sports for doing all this and still looking after me, because when you lose so much, people just want to disregard you and throw you to the side like you're an old or young or whatever the hell it is. And I sat there for the longest time watching all of these clips of my fans making these, and they're kind of like watching the decline of all this, and I fucking just sat there and I got pissed. And I just let it dwell in me. And I wanted to go to the gym, and I didn't. I said, don't do it. Allow yourself to rest and heal. And it took everything I had to possibly let myself completely did that. But for 5 months, I healed. You're talking about from my feet from the Gaethje fight, from all the pain. You're talking about from Benil trying to twist my leg off, and then Oliveira trying to jerk my arm off, and then my head getting rocked in. All of these different things made me stronger. And what it did was it made me focus on where I needed to put my energy. I've been doing this for so long with thinking of the direction I wanted to go, but my why was not there anymore. I wasn't happy with what was going on, and I was forcing a move that was making me hurt myself, and I didn't need to do that anymore. At the time this came in, and I was not thinking about retiring, but I'm thinking about boxing. I've been offered a match too. I can't really talk too much. But ever since I left, they didn't want to say Tony left, and I didn't want to say I left either. And so we all left because I love this company. I love every company that I work for because I'm fucking so loyal. GFL is a new right now, doing new things. I love the way the commissioner's saying things. He's doing everything. The teams are evenly split, and it's a tournament bracket where you know where you're going to go. It's 3 to 4 to win it. I have won nationals. I've won state. I've won individual and team. I'm ready to win a team title for this world title, and that's my why.
Yeah, love it.
And you can tell from your enthusiasm, your body movement, Tony's all kinds of fired up. And Joe used to always say, be the hero of your own movie. And that, I think, is what Tony's talking to us about. Be the hero of your own movie. And what movie doesn't go up and down? Right. And what movie doesn't have a blonde surfer-looking dude like my man, the California Kid, Uriah Faber? All right, give me one. Give me one fight that you want? It's a must fight for you in the GFL.
Man, I gotta see how this whole thing pans out. But I think I kind of already alluded to it. Barral, like I said, the first time I fought Barral, it was a very disappointing lead up to that fight. I was supposed to be the co-main event against Chael Sonnen versus Anderson Silva on UFC 100. I was kind of ripped out of that opportunity, which cost me a lot of things, including a ton of money. Was pushing I was getting pushed to go fight and fill in for Jose Aldo, who had fallen out of injury to the fight in Canada the next week after 100. And I felt like I was just like, it was a terrible time. And I felt like the least enthusiastic I've ever felt about a fight. I felt like my performance was not terrible, it was lackluster. And I went out there and lost the decision. The second time around, I filled in for Dominic Cruz, thinking I might not have another chance at a world championship, right? And I get a short notice call. I had a small tear in my hamstring, but I said, you know what? I'm doing it anyways. And I went out there. And if you remember that fight, I took that moment after a loss where I was giving a thumbs up. Herb Dean was asking me if I was okay. I was giving a thumbs up, getting punched, and he stops the fight. And instead of hemming and hawing, I took that opportunity to post up the next guy in my camp, TJ Dillashaw. And I said, give my guy TJ Dillashaw a chance. In retrospect, I should have called for the rematch there. I should have got another opportunity and fought Barral again. And I feel like that's one I want. I think that's one that I think will line up. And, I'm excited. It's a 145. I won't have to kill myself to get down to 135. So I'm excited. If that matchup can line up, I'll be very happy.
Uriah, thank you so much for your time, and one of the very few men who have fought both Jose Aldo and Renan Barral. Bring it back again. Bring it back again. How about Tony's dream fight?
Yeah, Tony, when you hear the likes of like a Dylan Dennis calling you out, you fought everybody. You fought the legends. You fought the highest level. When you hear a guy like Dylan Dennis call you out, does that get a guy like Tony Ferguson out of bed? Is that a fight that you would even consider taking? Does it do anything for you?
Check this out, Brandon. Have you ever been to a wrestling tournament, freestyle or a folk style wrestling tournament?
Yes, sir.
Usually got the weigh-ins the day before, right? Sometimes you see your opponent. Sometimes you're not sure if they're in your same weight class, but you're there to do what? You're there to weigh in. Then the next day, right? Sometimes you go to the wrestling chart and you look. I used to do that when I first started wrestling, and then my dad, Jeff, he goes, "Why are you doing that?" He's like, if you're going to win this, you got to quit looking at all this stuff. It doesn't matter who you have in front of you.
Yep.
And it's been a long time, Brandon, since I've talked like this and I've been like this, but I've got a new fire in me, my bro, that it's, you put somebody in front of me and I'm going to go out there, I'm going to finish the fight.
Awesome.
I'm in.
Awesome.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Well, thank
Very
you both.
transparent, huh?
Yeah, I love it.
Thank you,
I love
Tony. Thank you, Uriah. We're looking forward to seeing you both back in action.
Love you guys.
Quick reaction to that.
LA
They've
strong.
both got a Y and a strong
See
Y.
you guys.
Yeah,
Appreciate
see
you
you
guys.
guys.
Thank you, guys.
They've both got a strong Y. Rematches.
Yep.
Super
or
strong
just-
Y.
Yeah.
And it's, again, we talked about this. We broke it down, Robin, Caroline, and Brendan. You said, all right, Tony has been on a slide. So is he coming back to change things? And you didn't even have to ask him the question. He acknowledged it, which a true professional right away, and that's his why.
The two of them are so different, though, if you look at it.
They're so different.
Uriah doesn't need to do this at all. Why will he walk down there? Because he can. Doesn't need the money, doesn't need the glory, he's got coaching, real estate, businesses, everything he's ever
a
needed.
whole empire.
Yeah,
I think with Tony, and I'm sure I'll get backlash on the internet, nothing new.
The internet loves you. The internet loves Brendan Shaw.
But I think my whole with Tony, I used to train with Tony. I love Tony. So the reason why it's the elephant in the room is because I love Tony and I want what's best for Tony.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. That's all this is. So if Tony goes, what's best for me is fighting, who am I to say you can't fight? And you hear his why, you're like, all right, let's do it.
And I would say why with Uriah Faber, because my leg still hurts from calling Jose Aldo, Uriah
Oh,
Faber.
God.
My leg still hurts, but Uriah is a soldier, and he'll be back at top level.
But that freedom to not need the money, not need the work, be able to do it out of the choice, that is the Uriah at his best. When he goes out and has fun.
It can either make him really dangerous or it can go the other way. There's no in between.
That's the beauty of what we're doing. We'll find out.
And with a biological age of 27.
Someone needs to fact check that.
Yeah.
Well, look, we're going to reveal the next full four teams very shortly. But first, Alex is going to give us a bit of a rundown of the women's division selects and the female frontrunners.
Yes, it was amazing talking to those legends, but now we got to talk about the ladies. We have some people participating online right now. One of them, Angela Overkill Hill. She was chewing on her nails with a Kermit gif saying, "I'm on the edge of my seat waiting to see who else gets picked up by the GFL draft." And now she could probably take a breath because she saw her good friend Jessica Pena get picked for Team LA. Also, at Inchechtable said this hashtag GFL draft is fun. I don't care what anyone says. Some lesser known cats could make a name for themselves, taking out some legends. And Bohachino Depot said, hopefully Alimale McFarland gets drafted soon. Shout out to her dogs. Her dogs are very cute, Ollie Campbell. But also, she is so talented and she was added to that LA team. So don't go anywhere because we have the full reveal of Team London coming up next as well.
The Global Fight League is not just stepping into the future of mixed martial arts, it's shaping it. And it starts with their commitment to fighters both physically and financially. For the first time in the history of combat sports, GFL athletes are true equitable partners with 50% of all net revenue going to all fighters. Plus, the GFL will contribute to a retirement and insurance fund. In an effort to keep fighters safe and competing at their highest potential, the need for unhealthy weight cuts have been eliminated. Though the names might look familiar, the weights are very different. It's the mission of the Global Fight League to bring fans the most exciting events possible, and that starts with putting fighters first.
We are back with the live GFL draft, and the next team to be revealed in full is Team London.
It's your city. You
It's
start.
my city, yeah. Look at those beautiful monuments and landmarks, and what a beautiful lineup of fighters. I mean, strong European talent as we would expect from Luke Barnett's selections. But talk to us about some of these other fighters that have made the cut.
Alir Latifi's a mean dude.
Yeah.
He's a tough
tough
customer.
And Julia Budd is a mean fighter in her own right, man, from Canada.
Yep.
You know, Canadians get along pretty well with the English. But she's an ornery, talented, super smart. Her husband is her coach, and they're a brilliant team with,
Norman Park.
She does live in British Columbia, so that would make sense.
Yeah.
Benson Henderson, your boy, off the street, Goldie.
Love that guy.
Love
that guy.
Legend.
Smooth.
Tanner
Smooth is
Bosa,
back.
another Canadian.
Benson Henderson.
Big boy, yeah. Good luck. Norman Park, too, from Northern Ireland. He's had moments where when he puts his knuckles on you, you go to sleep.
Well, talking of Benson Henderson, we do have him standing by, UFC and Bellator veteran. Benson, are you there? Good to see you. There he is.
Good to see you. Thanks, Jack. You got it.
Brilliant. Look, we've been asking this to most of the fighters through the night. Are there any matchups that you really, really want for maybe your first fight or whatever fight it might be in the GFL?
Man, I want everybody. They have a pretty good roster of guys here, a big long list of names, and a bunch of names I have not actually fought before. I'm down for it. I want it. I'm not saying that facetiously. I'm not saying that rhetorically. Saying that literally everybody that have I like.
The smooth one. What is going on, my friend? Benson Henderson. Yeah. Or, as Maria, your wife would say, creepy guy, right?
He says that a lot.
She still does. There you go. There you go. So Benson, you coming back and still competing at a high level, you've done everything right. We had a fighter at Bare Knuckle about 10 days ago who said you're his hero and he named his son after you. So in addition to fighting, you want to continue to show your legacy and show others how to do it properly. Would that be accurate?
I would think that would be exactly accurate, yes. fighting's awesome. I love fighting. I love having the chance to be able to compete again at the highest level, going against some the biggest names, guys who I know who are absolute talents in the game. So I love having that chance. But it's not just about that. It's about who you are as a person, how you carry yourself, what you present yourself as. It's about your parents being proud of you as a son, as a daughter. It's about your kids being proud of you as a father. Your kids being able to go to school. Hey, that's my dad. And like, I'm not being embarrassed. Like, oh yeah, that's dad over there. You saw the video of him online being silly. Oh yeah, that's the child legacy I'm trying to leave. So you gotta do things the right way, man. You gotta do things the way.
So we'll leave you with this, Benson. We'll leave you with this. Much love, my friend.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
There you go. There you go. Talk to you soon.
Well, interesting to see him on Team London, but a strong team there indeed. I'm now going to take it to Alex, who is standing by with another Alex, Alexander Gustafsson.
Joining me now is the 3rd overall pick, Gegard Mousasi. Gegard, the GFL season is really bringing the heat, and we just found out that the whole Team London is stacked from bottom to top. What are your feelings about the team itself?
I'm excited. I hear Gustafsson is also in my team. We share the same manager, so I think we can score some points with Gustafsson, so I'm happy.
And according to the 2023 Athletic article, over 80% of fighters are dissatisfied with fighter pay, and you have been a fighter that has been vocal about this. So when you first heard that the GFL would be sharing 50% of their revenue share, what was your reaction?
Yeah, happy because I felt if you compared MMA fighters to different sports, basketball, football, American football, they were always underpaid. So it's finally time that someone is fair in sharing of the revenue. So I'm happy, excited about that. I think a lot of fighters are happy. And so it's a new start.
And when we're looking at the entire roster for Team London, with the exception of 3, all the fighters are based out of Europe. So what do you think a team victory for Team London would say about the evolution and status of MMA in Europe?
We had a lot of good MMA fighters from Europe. So we competed at the highest level. So I don't know. We're gonna maybe train as a team. I don't know, is that possible? But Gustafsson is close by to Sweden. Holland is close by, so I think training is possible, and we might get better results as a team.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be fun to see the camaraderie between the teammates. I gotta ask, I'd be remiss if I didn't. Do you have any particular matchups on your mind that would be pretty fun for the fans, or maybe one that you have specifically for your own legacy?
No, not really. I think I see it as a team. I'm going to compete against them anyway. And Luke Rockhold is a big name I saw in the middleweight division. That one, I think we were almost fighting each other when we were fighting in the UFC, so that didn't happen. That's a possibility. That's a nice matchup. And I'm looking forward to fight multiple times. So I think eventually I will fight all those guys that have... But he has a big name, so that would be nice.
Yes, I'm handling all of the social media interactions, and that is definitely one that the fans want to see. And we love that you are guaranteed 3 fights in the regular season, which is a 6-month period. So we cannot wait to see you back in action, Gegard. Thank you so much for the time.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Well, that is indeed Gegard Mousasi, not the mauler, but I love that mention of Luke Rockhold. Now, moving us on now to the full team reveal of Team Miami. Let's take a look at who they have selected in full. There you go.
We talked a lot about this with the general manager and the coach, and JDS being their top pick, Thiago Santos, Gleison Tibau. You had a lot of American top team influence, but then you bring in the Anthony Pettises and the Kat Zinganos of the world.
And Jeremy Stevens is fighting tomorrow
No, he didn't.
night in Philly against our guy Eddie Alvarez. Still lots of fight in Jeremy Stevens, and of course Paige Van Zandt. Like I said twice tonight, I think she has so many things going for her. Successful podcast. She's aesthetically very pleasing. She's got her own businesses, etc. But the woman can fight, man. She can fight like crazy.
I think strongest female picks we've seen yet. I mean, look at Hannah Goldie, who's no joke. You got Paige Van Zandt. You got Natasha there, Kat Zingano.
Charles Rosa's a stud.
Yep.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about me, Goldie, for a second.
You're a stud.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're aesthetically pleasing as well.
Yeah,
Don't
well,
worry.
thank you very much, Caroline. Thank you very much.
Well, talking of the beautiful Paige Van Zandt, she is here with us as part of Team Miami. Welcome in, Paige.
What's
Looking
up,
gorgeous
guys?
as always. What's up, Paige?
Thank you.
You've done it all. Power slap more recently. You've done the pro wrestling, you've done the UFC, and now this new chapter with the GFL. How excited are you for this and any potential matchups?
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. You know, when I left the UFC as a free agent, I was kind of exploring my options, and I knew I wanted to continue in MMA, but I went through a serious arm injury, and I've been able to take so much time off and heal that and just stay in the gym, stay at American Top Team. So the timing could not have been more perfect for this opportunity. And I'm just excited to see where the GFL goes and just to be a part of the names that they signed right away.
Paige, it's great to see you as always. Please say hello to that handsome husband of yours, Austin Vanderford. You're still as bubbly as you were. And I'm going to take you back to this because I saw you right after in the locker room before you went to the press conference. Let's go back to Vancouver, British Columbia, August 27th, 2006, right? 2006. Paige goes flying in the air and finishes Beck Rawlings. And then you were like a little kid backstage doing your makeup for the press conference, and you were great inside the octagon and great outside as always. You're one of the biggest personalities this sport has ever seen, Paige.
Thank you. And honestly, it's not that I try. This is just who I am as a person. And I think it's unfamiliar to a lot of like MMA fans or just like the MMA community initially, because when I signed, I was so young when I took off. I signed to the UFC when I was 19. I had my first fight at 20 years old. So I was a kid. I was a baby. I didn't know what the world just like presented to me. So now I'm happy that I've been able to stay so like humble and positive through the journey, because I have had ups and downs. I've been able to experience a lot of new options and be able to stay active in my career doing, pro wrestling, power slap, boxing, bare knuckle boxing. And now I feel like I'm finally coming home to my passion. And that's kind of what I've missed just the last few years is my passion. And I was actually in the gym at American Top Team training like 2 days ago, and we were working that same switch kick that I had on Beck Rawlings. So I was like, oh, this is just meant to be. It's all just like happening at the perfect time.
I love it. Yeah, Paige, you stay active, more active than anyone, whether it's power slap, the bare knuckle, the professional wrestling, you're doing everything. My question for you is, are you going to put all that on hold and just focus solely on MMA and the GFL? Because there's tough competition. So my only concern with all your success, would you trying to juggle all those things and still compete at the highest level in the GFL?
Oh, for sure. No. So, I mean, obviously I did a short stint in pro wrestling. I did one match that was years ago now. And power slap was an opportunity that I was like, oh, I never thought I would ever do it. And they came to me and asked if I would compete. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. You know, I'm just in the gym training. It's not a big training regimen, I would say, for power slap. So yes, 100%. This has been my main focus, honestly, for a long time. I was kind of taking those like bare knuckle boxing fights, not because I wasn't passionate about it, just because I wasn't sure where I belonged in the MMA world yet. And I was just waiting for that right opportunity to be able to spark my passion with an organization that matched my energy. And the GFL brought that to me. It was kind of where I felt like I needed to feel excited to fight for a company again. And they were the first ones that really, I was like, yes, that's where I want to go.
I get it. Love it.
Yeah. Love the say yes attitude, and can't wait to see you back in the cage, back doing MMA again, Paige. Thank you so much.
Yep. Thank you guys so much.
There she is, Paige Van Zandt. And we have standing by now, Showtime Anthony Pettis, the former UFC lightweight champion. There he is, Anthony. Look, you've seen a lot of the team reveals now. You've fought a lot of guys, but off the bat, what are the matchups or the names that you're either excited to fight with or are as excited to fight alongside and have in your team?
Yeah, I fought a lot of these guys already. Obviously, the one that jumps out is Tony Ferguson. I mean, me and Tony had a war in the UFC. I broke my hand. We couldn't finish that fight, so I feel like that's a big one for me. Sage Northcutt, we never fought before. I mean, there's a bunch of guys in there that I'm like, yo, especially Dylan Dennis. There's another guy that I never fought before. So there's a bunch of guys out there. Tony sticks out, though. Me and Tony had a war, and I feel like that one needs to finish.
Showtime, it is always great to see you, my friend. I know your beautiful family continues to be beautiful. I said earlier, you know, we have the Motown phenom, Kevin Lee, and for you, it's all about Duke Rufus and Rufus Sport and your success and Sergio's success and the success of your teammates, T. Wood being the top overall pick. You have it on your back, so I expect to see it over and over again. When you walk into any competition, it truly is showtime, isn't it, Anthony?
Oh yeah, man. I mean, it's not on my back for no reason. You know, when I go out there, especially mixed martial arts, I haven't fought MMA for almost 2 years now. We took some time off, focused on boxing, and I feel like it's my time to get back.
Showtime, I saw you. I was next to a pit watching you fight. I love every time I get to see you do your thing. But fighters, you know, there's different identities. Some fighters are just fighters, right? Some are artists. Some are athletes. You're all those things. And you've kind of taken them all and applied them to business, too. You're a successful businessman now. What do you think of the business model and what GFL's doing as a business entity?
Yeah, it's amazing. Honestly, I think we're all prize fighters when it comes down to it. We do this to take care of our families, to support our kids. So when the GFL is coming with an opportunity like this, it's amazing. 50% profit splits with the athletes, and the contracts are amazing. I'm a prize fighter, man. I think I'm probably one of the only guys that made $1 million in the boxing cage, $1 million in the MMA. Karate Combat took care of me well, so I feel like this is how it should be for us as athletes.
Agreed.
And Anthony, just as we say goodbye, you were the kryptonite to Superman, and what an honor it was, and you treated it like that when you boxed against the all-time great Roy Jones Jr. You were kryptonite that night, buddy.
Amazing.
Yeah, I was on fire, man. So he beat a Puerto Rican that we had to get it back. So when I went back to Puerto Rico, I did the tryouts there for APFC. They loved it, man. So yeah, shout out to Roy Jones for giving me the opportunity too.
Love it. Hey, we'll see you very soon. Yeah. Love to the family, bud.
Thanks, bro.
There he is, Anthony Pettis. Well, we're going to send it over to Alex. What do you have for us?
Yeah, we have a lot of hype for Paige Van Zandt. Jenny Football 26 said, Paige Van Zandt is beautiful. Hashtag GFL draft. We love getting the woman involved and also showing our support for them. She brings great energy. But another name that isn't as well known is Kayla Rocco, who's currently on a 4-fight win streak. I even got a direct quote from her saying that I feel like there is a lack of opportunity in the MMA scene right now, and GFL is coming to save the day. The big names, the unique team format, and all the cool cities. People are excited about the GFL, and I cannot wait to watch it all unfold. And now we get to watch it unfold. She is on Team Miami, supporting a very, very strong team. And last but not least, we had Vinny Talks. Just put Showtime. Hashtag GFL draft. We have much more coming up, so stay tuned.
We do indeed, and next we will be revealing the full Sao Paulo team.
Yeah, the great fighting nation of Brazil.
They have some fighters there. There's no question about it. And they have the camaraderie and Rafael Assunção, Renan Barão. I mean, Fabricio Verdun. You just look up and down this list, and great leaders in, obviously Conan and Vanderlei as well.
And Shogun as a leader.
Yeah, man.
Still much younger than people think. Patricky Pitbull, legendary Pitbull brothers. This is a great looking team, and manager Leona Machida said that they're gonna, walk that real honorable martial artist walk, which is a beautiful element. There's a South American or two on there, but otherwise it's heavy Brazil.
And I'm just going in my Brazil mode, saying that Silva Silva and Cordero are handling them, but they're obviously handling all kinds of teams. Lyoto Machida, also a great Brazilian fighter who is embracing, Viva Brazil.
Yeah, I think when you look at the teams, I mean, obviously, if you have Vanderlei Silva as a coach, he's going to want finishes. It's tough competition. Sao Paulo has a lot of competition.
Yes, they do.
Tough.
Yeah,
it's going to be tough.
Tough town.
Yeah, looking at it's going to be tough.
Well, you mentioned Shogun Hua. He is standing by.
Awesome.
Here he is. Let's bring in Shogun. So good to see you. How are you feeling about being part of the GFL? And I've got to ask about one particular matchup, maybe the one with Alexander Gustafsson. Does that one appeal to you?
Thank you very much. I'm very happy for here. Thank you.
Shogun, it is so great to see you. And it's so excited to see you fight again because you bring it. And we're talking to Hafi and we're going, old school, talking about Curitiba. And, let's not forget, you are a big part of that team of strikers. Yeah, look at the smile on your face, of that team of strikers who came out and dominated the world for many years.
Yes, I'm very happy for back again. I'm back for the game and for the new format. I'm very excited for fighting GFL.
Mm-hmm.
Shogun, you have done everything. You have done absolutely everything there is to be done. Brendan's been curious about why fighters, who have accomplished everything, are fighting now, coming into the GFL and making one last stab at world title. What is your reason to continue this quest in martial arts?
Okay. Eu estou muito feliz de voltar a lutar. Eu sou cara realizado com a minha carreira, com meus títulos e com meus troféus, meus prêmios.
I'm very happy to be back fighting again. I feel very accomplished in my career, but I'm very excited to be back. I can't stay out of the game.
Mas eu me considero cara novo ainda e sei que tenho muita linha para queimar ainda.
I'm still a new guy and I have a lot of wood to burn yet.
Yeah, I mean, Robin, you took the words out of my mouth. For an accomplished legend like Shogun, my question would be why? Do you see guys on this GFL roster that are going to get a guy of your caliber out of bed, a legend out of bed to do the road work, to put the time in the gym? Do you see any names that right off the bat, you're like, that'll get me out of bed?
In GFL, have many fighters, have many legends, but I fight anyone. I'm very excited for this event, having many legends. I'm very happy. I fight anyone. I'm ready for anyone.
Love of the game. Yeah, love of the game.
I get asked so often, Shogun, I get asked all the time, Goldie, there's so many fights. What was the greatest fight? I'm like, okay, I have a couple, but you and Hendo, as Joe Rogan would do, you and Hendo rolling for 25 minutes. It's still one of them. It gives me chills today. So, man, let's bring more of that back.
Fale pouco dessa luta.
Então, essa luta foi uma luta muito difícil, muito dura, onde eu não venci, mas eu fiquei feliz que eu consegui dar o meu melhor.
This was a very tough match, very hard opponent. Even though I didn't win, I was very happy with my performance.
Eu acho que o mais importante, o meu objetivo é subir sempre e deixar tudo que eu puder dentro do octógono do ringue. Esse é o meu objetivo sempre.
My main goal always is and always was step inside the cage and leave it all in there and give all I got.
Yeah.
Last question, legend. What does it mean to you to fight for Brazil, to be part of a team that fights for Brazil?
Com certeza, para mim, lutar no meu país é uma motivação muito grande.
For sure, fighting for my country is a big motivation.
To score points for my city. Let's go, São Paulo.
Shogun, we'll get you out of here on this one. How does a fight between you and Rashad Evans sound? Does that sound like a matchup that you would love for your first fight in the GFL?
Então, o Rashad é um grande adversário, um grande oponente. Era para lutar com ele 2 vezes, mas ele machucou. Então, eu acredito que dessa vez vai dar certo a gente lutar.
Rashad's a great opponent. We're supposed to fight 2 times back in the day, and that didn't happen. But I believe the 3 times a charm.
Yeah, agree. That's why I asked. That's why I asked. We've been waiting for it. Yeah.
Muito obrigado.
Mauricio, we are honoured to have you in the GFL and we look forward to seeing you in the cage very soon. Obrigada. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Caroline. Thank you, Robin. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Brandon. See you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank
Good to
you.
see you, brother.
And look, I was trying to ask him about revenge over Alexander
Yeah.
Gustafsson. Didn't quite have a chance to answer, but it sounds like he's willing to fight anybody.
Well, he always
Of
has
course,
been,
yeah.
and that's the beauty of Mauricio Shogun Hua. And I will take you back to 1997 when I walked into the hotel in Shin, Yokohama, Japan, and Elaine McCarthy said, R is H in Portuguese. It's not Royce, it's Hoyce. Thus, it is Mauricio Hua. Just wanted to say hi to John and Elaine. That was
Thanks for putting us right. I think we got it right. We got it right anyway.
Him and Rashad's a good fight.
It's a great
We've
fight.
been waiting for it. It's what's happened twice, like you mentioned. That's the fight they should do.
And as many of us have talked about with many fighters tonight, Shogun is once again the definition of a true fighter. DNA, fighter, 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 and then that extra gene is fighting.
Yeah, and that word legend, we throw it around. People call, their 6-year-old brother a legend these days, but that's a fucking legend.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And his brother's pretty good too. Just has a big
absolutely. Yeah.
All right, absolutely, I agree. Well, we have our final team reveal, and it is Team New York. So who's Ray Longo gone for here? The full reveal.
A lot of his own, right?
Finally, Dylan Dennis makes an appearance.
Is Dylan on there?
Yeah.
OSP,
Finally.
Alan the Talent
I
Belcher.
thought he got run out of New York.
No, you can't get rid of him.
No. Oh, Alan Belcher, man.
Yeah.
That guy is so sharp and so smart. He moves so unbelievably smooth for a big man at this. And then you got Holly Holm, Kevin Lee, Jimmy Rivera. OSP, this is nuts
You got
over here.
Olenek. You got the Anaconda down there.
That's
This
right.
is
That's right.
nuts right here.
And we were talking to Anthony Pettis before. Alan Belcher trained up in Milwaukee under Duke Rufus early in his career, very long time. And that man, we talked top of the show finishes. Alan Belcher can finish.
Yeah, big time. And you imagine just anyone in the training room, you just sit down and shut up and listen to Holly Holm and Chris Weidman share stories.
Agreed.
Well, talking to Chris Weidman, he is here with us, the All-American. Chris, are you there? How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I honestly was doing better until I seen the draft. Like, being from New York, being from the Cerro Longo squad, we're all about being loyal. And Longo, of all people, is probably the most loyal dude I know. And he picked Kevin Lee over me in the draft for the first pick. There must be something
That's
wrong
what I said.
here.
That's what I said.
This can't be real. What the hell is going on? He'll
But
never be able to look at me in the eye ever again.
So,
Kevin Lee,
Chris,
let's go deeper on this. Kevin Lee did he have 2 fights with Ali Quinta? They hated each other. This is crazy.
Chris, you know that the draft order snakes, so he knew he was getting 2 picks in a row, and he picked Kevin literally just to mess with you. Guaranteed.
You gotta take your boy first, though.
Right. You know what? Good for him. Good for him. He got it. I'd like to see
Chris,
I'd like to see the email or the text message or the voice note that said that, because I want to hold it to him.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Chris, so I'm going to take you back as a coach like Ray to mini-mites. Mini-mites, hockey. You had your own kid automatically, so you could have another pick before you chose your own kid back at 6 years old on the ice. Maybe that's just what Ray was doing. He's saying, hey, I've got my kid. I've got my best friend. I've got Chris Weidman, the All-American. So, yeah, let's go to Motown for a second first. Still, you don't like it, and nobody at Hofstra likes it.
Yeah, you're trying to save him right now. He's got no life jacket. He can't swim. You're trying to throw him a little, life jacket.
I'm with Weidman on this, man. You got to select your boy first.
That's
on,
very
Brendan.
true. So I appreciate you calling me out, Chris.
Chris, absolutely. You deserve it.
Chris, you had a layover in Toronto when you came. I was working at a place called Fight Network, and you came there, and you said, we're just going to chill out. Oh, you guys got a ping pong table. And then you proceeded to be the most competitive son of a bitch I've ever seen play ping pong. That is you, right? That is how you live your life.
Yes, I definitely have an issue when it comes to competition. I've tried to harness it over the years and not be as crazy with it. But it's a tough one to stop, And it's what gives you success at the end of the day. So I can't control it too much. I try to control it with my kids. It's not easy to let them win in things.
It's tough.
But sometimes you got to just, roll over for them and give them a day.
Now, Chris, even though you were the second pick and you're salty about it, you're obviously, and I would be too, I don't get me wrong, but you're obviously going to be looked at as a team leader. So, and this is a team game. Do you find that you want that role? You have guys on your team like Dylan Dennis, who I think people are going to be surprised what he does in this. Is a guy like Dylan Dennis, and does it put pressure on you being the leader of the team in New York?
Dylan Dennis better listen to Captain Weidman or he's thrown off. We're gonna, you always have to find the class clown, in the class and make sure you get on him early.
Call him out.
And Dylan Dennis, I'm gonna have to call him out right away. Be like, bro, you don't play these games here. This is how it's done. And I'm sure he's gonna be fine. He's always been a gentleman to me.
And you're used to being
by the way,
just
to prolong that. Just to prolong that, yes. I grew up as a wrestler. The team environment, this is like a dual meet type concept. And I always loved that. I did miss that, about MMA. You don't really have that. Even though we were fortunate to have a bunch of really good guys, we got to fight on the same cards. It wasn't like you had a full lineup. So this is pretty cool. It kind of is as close and parallels with wrestling as anything I've ever done.
Love it.
And Chris, final thing, you have spent pretty much half your life, maybe more, dealing with one of the greatest fighting clowns of all time, and Matt Sarah. So I think you'll be fine handling Dylan, right?
Listen, Sarah, I will not be recorded comparing Dylan Dennis and Matt Sarah ever. Because listen, there's probably one person I'm scared of on this planet. It's Matt Sarah. He talks, I listen, and that's it. He's my team leader, so I can't compare them. He is very witty. He's very funny. I listen. I just laugh. But I can't make a comparison between him and Dylan Dennis. With all respect to Dylan Dennis.
Of course. And thank you for putting me in my spot like you've always been so kind to do.
Yeah, no, sorry. I'm just being honest.
No.
Goldberg, I miss you, buddy. It's good seeing you, by the way.
I miss you, too.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
It's good hearing your voice.
Can't wait to see you.
Yes.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you. That means the world.
Chris, I want to ask you one last question. You're the only fighter now that's seen the entire roster from every team. And yourself aside, are there any dream matchups from some of the legends and upcomers that you've seen revealed tonight that you want to see in the GFL?
Yeah, well, I think this kind of goes on the forefront of that is the elephant in the room is I just retired from the UFC. A lot of people thought I was done fighting, and I didn't know. I thought maybe I am done fighting. I was kind of open to, other opportunities outside the UFC, but they had to be good. And this is a league where there's a lot of guys that I have a lot of history with. You got Luke Rockhold, you got Gegard Mousasi, you got Uriah Hall. Rockhold was my first loss ever. That was a tough loss tough pill for me to swallow. And we were supposed to rematch a whole bunch of times inside the UFC. It never happened. So that'd be a fight I'd love to have. Uriah Hall broke my damn leg in my last fight. He was a gentleman about it, but we had fought twice. I had fought him once early before when we were on a local show in Ring of Combat. But we have a lot of history, and it's older dudes that I have a lot of history with. I love to compete, and we make a whole lot of money. And so it's just it's not something I really feel like I could say no to. It's a really an exciting time for me.
Well, definitely some rematches you mentioned there that we'd like to see as well. Chris, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to yourself and Ray Longo's interactions now after being picked second. I'm sure you're going to give him a bit of a hard time, but hopefully you'll put that aside.
Let's put both of us. I want to see him defend it. Let's put us on a split screen.
We'll bring him back. We'll bring Ray back. All right. Thank you so much, Chris. We look forward to seeing you soon. Take care. All right, with that, we have announced all of the teams. I'm now going to send it to Alex, who is with our commissioner, Darren Owen.
What a night it has been. Darren, what interview and a powerful message from Chris Weidman. What were your reactions to that?
Yeah, love hearing his passion. Love hearing that he's not happy about being the second pick for New York. And, just seeing this all play out is, it's a dream come true. It's, seeing this come to life and all these athletes getting behind it and supporting it, that we've done the right thing. We've set this up the right way. We're taking care of these athletes, sharing 50% of the revenue with them, giving them insurance, giving them a retirement fund. And, I couldn't be any happier with how this evening played out.
and we were having a lot of fun in the social corner. I gotta circle back. I know Chris Weidman gave a few stories about Dylan Dennis, but Terrence McKinney was in the comments saying he's taking his first L tonight. Last kid picked for dodgeball vibes. That's fighting words, but we have him added to the New York roster, so there's plenty of matchups that we could do. Is there anything on top of mind for you that you could potentially see as a matchup we'd see early on in 2025?
Oh, wow. There's where to start, right? Like there's just potential amazing fight after potential amazing fight. So nothing particular steps. I would be ridiculous to call out any one potential fight that could happen here. We're going to make the fights the fans want to see. That's what we're here to do. We're here to entertain. We're here to do something different. And we're here to be in the evolution of the sport of mixed martial arts. So, very happy, thank everyone for tuning in, checking this out, and just exciting for April to really get things kicked off.
Yes, this is definitely the start of something new. And as you mentioned, after April, we'll have an event every month for 6 months, and that'll be the regular season. So what were the thoughts on that cadence, and what can we expect for the regular season?
Oh, you can expect amazing fight after amazing fight and value for the fans. That's what we want to bring, a different way to do this sport, and in such a traditional way where, the number one driver in sports fandom is cheering for your favorite team. We've just established 6 global teams with legend after legend and up-and-coming star after up-and-coming star. So to have the lineup we have, to have built this table and then just have everyone wanting a seat at it has been just truly inspiring. The feedback from the community, we hear it, we feel it. It's an amazing just vibe amongst the MMA community. And thank you from the bottom of my heart for helping this come to fruition.
Yes, thank you so much, Darren. Really bringing this vision to life. We cannot wait to see the future. Caroline?
Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Darren. And I just want to bring us to the point system. And now we know the full team reveals. Which teams have used the point system to select their fighters most effectively?
Well, I go back to what I said at the top of the show. Finishers, finishers, finishers. 4 points for a finish win. 3 points for a decision win. 2 for a draw. 1 for a decision loss. So stay in there and fight, and you still gain a point for your team, which is awesome. And then if you do get finished, you don't get a negative, but you don't earn a point.
When it comes to strategy, though, looking for the finish sometimes puts you at risk of being finished, right? So how big a risk taker are you? Which fighters are risk takers? Not just strategically when the coaches give them an assignment, but when stuff starts happening and they're in there themselves, right? It's going to be fascinating. You can win this by grinding it out, and that's a way you can approach it, but you can also win it by laying people out.
Yeah, a few teams jump off the board to me right away. Dubai, when you're talking about decision win, is 3 points. Dubai has a lot of guys that can grind you out. You look at New York, Sao Paulo, Miami, they got a lot of finishers. And then, LA and London, they're kind of a mix of the both. But you got 3 teams that are pretty strong on either side.
Mm-hmm. And it makes me think of Douglas Lima again. I mean, here's a guy who finishes most of the time and has only been finished twice in his career.
Yeah.
So, double-edged sword when you talk about a guy like Douglas Lima.
The risk reward, yeah. Well, let's look at the weight classes as well, the GFL weight classes. Which teams do you think are shining based on the weight class decisions and choices?
Well, Brendan, the weight cut was always tough for you, right?
A nightmare. I was a smaller heavyweight. I know I look like Shrek up here, but amongst
you said that suit's a bit tight as you sat down earlier.
So tight. I'm trying to stay cool here.
So,
to be honest, who's going to flourish the most? You look at middleweight, that 15-pound Grace is massive. And then also for light heavyweight, 225, if I was, still wanted to fight, I'd be a light heavyweight. I'd be 225. Yeah. So those tweeners, guys like me, Cain Velasquez, Stipe, even JDS, not these days, but when he, back in the day when he was younger, 225 would have been perfect. That'd be my dream weight class.
Yeah. And how many times, Robin, did we hear, everybody up here, 225, it's coming in?
165.
Well, now it is.
Yeah, and audiences, people are resistant to change, right? And I think we've actually done very, very well and seen that people maybe are ready for change. But at the same time, you'll get a lot of pushback on it. But change is good, number one, and sometimes change happens because the thing you've always done is just the thing you've always done. You get used to it, but it's not the best. So you try something different, you try to encourage the athletes to fight closer to their natural weight, and that's the strategy.
You get a better product.
Yeah, you get safer athletes, better fights, better condition on people's health, everything.
Yeah, so be open to change unless it's electric cars. Am I right? All right.
That's right. And I'll tell you a weigh-in story. When the UFC went from the weigh-ins, in the afternoon to the weigh-ins in the morning and then the actual Showtime weigh-ins in the day, I walked in to the building for weigh-ins, and Frankie Edgar was running around like going crazy, Frankie Edgar style. I'm like, Frankie, how about the weight cut? Because Cody, I already weighed in. I already rehydrated. This is awesome. And then I remember Anderson Silva already had weighed in. He put his toe on the scale, and his other toe, it was suspenseful. No, it wasn't suspenseful. We already knew what he weighed in at.
The obsession with weight cutting, started in wrestling rooms at one time.
No question.
But so you think, well, if he's cutting weight, I better do it. But Frankie Edgar was an early example, and there's many, many now. There is a trend towards, why should we put our bodies through that? What is the actual advantage? If you're able to move your feet and somebody can't grab a hold of you because you're sharper and in better shape and you didn't cut all the weight, you can do better. So there is a trend away from that now, but some old dogs, it's hard to teach them new tricks.
And safety, Caroline.
Yeah, safety. And we see a lot of the older fighters go up in weight class as they go through their career, and we just heard Uriah Faber say as well, it'd be nice not to cut to 135 pounds. But we've seen so many legends and names that everyone's familiar with tonight, but what about those up-and-comer names that were mentioned tonight? Those that maybe we don't know so much about, but could be the ones to really look out for this year?
Well, iron sharpens iron. Mm-hmm. I know it's cliche. I know we say it all the time. But when you look at this team format, you look at the leaders, you look at the veterans, you look at the Mount Rushmore members, they are going to train with the next generation of superstars in mixed martial arts. So if you want to learn what it takes in and out of competition, what it takes to keep your body healthy, what it takes to really give everything you have, training 24/7, 365, you've got the perfect leaders with this team format, and that is the best thing to happen to these young, upcoming superstars.
And some of the young hot shots that are drafted here, they're early adopters and innovators. They're forward thinkers. They're imagining, what if I defeat Shogun and I'm 26 years old? They're thinking ahead. The GFL could look in 3 years, could all be 21-year-olds. If you're getting 50% rev share and you're 21 years old and you hear people are making $170,000 in their first fight from a rev share, the whole thing looks different. How it looks today and how it would look in 18 months or 3 years is completely different.
Yeah, when you look at the legends, especially on this roster, remember, they all have targets on their backs, man. They're getting these young lions. If a coach wants that matchup, those legends are fighting these young lions. So it's going to be tough for those guys. Don't think it's a cakewalk because they're a big name. Those guys are going to have a
It's beautiful that they're big names because you get so jazzed at the idea of Rashad Evans fighting Shogun. I mean, you get so jazzed about it. But to your point, there are 26-year-olds on this roster that people have to go on Tapology to figure out who they are, who can beat all the top.
And also to that point with the weight cut, I'll wrap it up on this. That point to the weight cut, yes, Tony Ferguson's fallen some hard times, but what if he's not? What if the 10-pound cut was the reason? What if the 15-pound cut was the reason?
No question.
What if he's a different fighter now? What if Anthony Pettis is rejuvenated? He's not cutting all that weight. What about that?
Yeah. And what if you're 23 years old and you fight Shogun on short notice in Newark, New Jersey? Well, then you're John Jones and you become the youngest champion in UFC history.
Well, you can put that on your
CV. Good. Well done, sir.
I love the way these young MMA fighters, they started doing MMA. They didn't start as a kickboxer or a boxer, and that's a big difference now, and that's to see how that compares as they face off against some of the legends. But to finish off here, I want to talk to you about what was the sort of viral moment or story of the night for each of you?
Mike Tyson's butt. Oh no, sorry. That was a different show. Sage being so excited, man. Seeing early in the show.
Have you ever met him? He gets excited over a burrito.
I know, but you could feel it.
Well, and he was 19 years old when he first
He's just a sweet kid.
So sweet. But to see a kid like that with the vision to see what this could be, and second, right away when we meandered through those first 5-6 picks, we could feel it, and I know that Alex is getting it on social media. We're like, shit, it's a real thing. Amazing.
I think you see this enthusiasm of these legends where when you first see the name, you're like, really? He's fighting again? Then you see Chris Weidman talk. You hear his why. You hear Tony Ferguson talk, which I was a big kind of...
hesitant.
But his answer makes total sense, right?
Yeah. And he said the perfect answer. I was like, I'm on board, man.
Yeah.
And I think with, you know, the backlash is expected when you're dealing with some of these fighters on those, you know, losing streaks. But I think my takeaway is, I think not only me, everyone up here and the fans included, you're gonna be surprised with what you get from these fighters. I think you'll be very surprised. There's gonna be some guys like a Dylan Dennis, a Sage Northcutt, like Kevin Lee, who are gonna be absolutely superstars in this league.
No question. My takeaways, I would say the start and the finish, because Tyron Woodley, the top overall pick, he not only was excited about that, but he put the GFL in perfect perspective. And you know who did at the end? The All-American Chris Weidman. So they're here to fight. They're here to compete again. They are true legends of the sport, but they're also ambassadors of a new way to present the sport. And that, I think, is my biggest takeaway.
And here's what's crazy. Now the work starts. This draft is all fun.
Fun and games.
We're in suits. This is all fun. This ain't shit. Now the work starts.
Now they gotta fight.
Now they got to fight, and we got to fly into those arenas. Like, now we haven't even begun, man.
Well, I'm not cutting weight, and I'm still wearing a suit. So.
Can I add one more hot thing that was amazing? I'll speak for both of these two, getting to work with this legend.
Oh, I know, dude. It's absolute legend. And then you, Caroline.
Thank you. Oh, it's all love here.
It's all peaches and herbs.
If I could give mine as well, I just love the way, talking to a lot of the coaches and general managers tonight, they really thought about their strategy when it came into the draft.
I was worried about that. I was worried, you know, because fighters are fighters, we're meatheads, and I thought they were going to be like, not know their teams or the strategy, but Javier Mendez, these guys are on it, man. Ray Longo, they're on it.
Strategy of the night, Ray Longo giving it to Chris Weidman intentionally in his face.
Hilarious.
Yeah, hilarious.
Javier Mendez, sharp dude. You can see, we just got to win 4, and you're like, oh my God.
That's what I mean.
And Kane will never be my boss. Thank you, Javi.
Yeah. Amazing.
Amazing stuff. Well, let's take one last look at tonight's Global Fight League 2025 draft.
Grinding.
The wrestler,
lot of
the
wins.
Russian, the dice roll.
Physical dominance.
If Luke Rockhold would just grapple, we're going to be all right. By we, I mean Dubai.
Okay, Team Los Angeles.
Alima Lay.
Stacked.
She is a submission specialist. She brought the sport of MMA to her island.
Lorenz
and
Larkin.
She's a champ in the Mongoose, right?
Yeah, Lorenz Larkin.
Of course, we spoke to Uriah and Tony Ferguson as well. Team London.
Gegard should have been the first overall pick, with all due respect to the great Tyron Woodley.
I think that Alexander Gustafsson could give John Jones a good fight. You don't know anything.
No, you don't know anything. Look at that.
Alexander 225.
Josh Hill is a dominant bantamweight.
Alexander Gustafsson at 225 is going to be a freaking
very dangerous, because he'll still be longer than most
guys. Keep it rolling,
yes.
Miami.
Team Miami.
Yeah. You sneak a Philippe Lins in under the radar down there too. Look at, there's a lot. Yeah, Hector. If somebody was trying to hurt my family and I could only get one person to help me, it'd be Hector Lombard. That dude is a scary, and a wonderful guy.
Probably the strongest female team that we've seen. Their draft on the female side is super strong.
Yeah.
And how can you not be enthused with our interview with Paige Van Zandt?
San Paulo. Henan Barao. Jeez.
Tough team.
Yeah. Douglas Lima. Shogun.
Team
Come
Novo
on.
União.
Cowboy Oliveira.
Yeah. Patricky Pitbull. This one we haven't said. Patricky Pitbull.
Yes.
In Bellator. Up there with the most finishes in Bellator history. That is a big one.
New York City, Kevin Lee, #1. Chris Weidman, #2. Dylan Dennis was right near the end.
And my buddy Lance Palmer. Great success. Great success. Lance.
I like Team New York.
Dylan Dennis was late, but more people will talk about him than almost anyone, and the dude can actually choke you unconscious.
Yeah, don't get it twisted.
Let's be serious for a second. Yeah.
All right, 6 very strong teams. Of course, we'll be visiting each of these cities for each of the events, which is something very exciting as well. I want to thank my cast members tonight, of course, Mike Goldberg, leadership for us as always, Robin Black, Brendan Sharp. You've had fun tonight?
Yeah. And if we're going away, may I have the honor, please?
Yeah.
All right. It is all over, just like that. Here comes the Global Fight League.
I can't do it any better than that, but all that's left to say is follow the GFL at MMA GFL, on Instagram at Global Fight League, and visit us at MMAGFL.com. Good night, and we will see you in April for the start of the GFL season.
Bink.
New York, Sao Paulo, Miami, Dubai, London, LA. Protect your neck, 'cause you come next. Yeah, you oughta know best, this ain't no chess. I'm a dragon, my town, my cage, my nest. Protect your neck, oh, cause you come next. Yeah, you oughta know best, come clean my mess. Have a dragon, my team, my honor, my chest. I'm haunted by a mountainous silhouette lurking under my skin, constricting my reason, it's fiending to break out and spin. Into carnage, I harness the havoc so I don't slip into sin. But the appetite's massive, I practice the path of discipline. Each elbow's a prayer, every knuckle's a vow. Keep darkness in captivity so it may not devour. My sanity, clarity, both teetering on the brink. I'm scaring me, apparently I'm bleeding black ink. I cradle the chaos, cradle the fists that clash. Taste the salted sweat of regret each time I lash. If I can't find a ring or a mat, the monster tears at the seams, so I let it off the leash to defend my team. Protect your neck, oh, cause you come next. Yeah, you oughta know best, this ain't no chess. I'm a dragon, my town, my cage, my nest.